Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. It's been about a week. I hope everyone is well. I hope you've all had a nice week. Spurs have picked up 6 points from the last 2 games. We're winning games. We've beaten Aston Villa away. The mood is shifting. And we've got Rain with us. Good morning, Rain. How are we, sir? You well?
Good morning. I'm very, very good. Yeah, very, very good on this bank holiday Monday. Got all me bank holiday weekend chores out the way. So I'm here with you for an hour or so, Sav.
You lucky
to celebrate. Yeah, well, I do feel lucky. Yeah, to celebrate on this fantastic morning after the day before.
Listen, as you know from the WhatsApp group, right? As you know, for me, this isn't about relief, not celebration. That's where I've said this for this for me is a very embarrassing situation we find ourselves in. This is relief. This is relief rather than excitement for me. But we'll get into it. Look, everybody, hit the like button. I've not done this for ages. I feel like I've never streamed before. Hit the like button. Thanks to our sponsors, Match Bingo. If you go onto Match Bingo and code fhtv, really good little betting experience. Very different to your usual betting companies, but good fun. And people do win money over there. And also, OK Jersey. Get over to OK Jersey. They've not only got all the Premier League tops and the La Liga and Serie A and Bundesliga and Ligue 1. They've got all of the retro kits as well, which are really, really cool. And they've got all of the World Cup kits. So I've got the Sweden away kit coming and the Netherlands away kit. That's what I've ordered. And the Inter Miami pink kit. So, I know. More for show rather than wearing. But hey, we'll see.
You could put it off. I couldn't put it off, mate.
Yes, me and Pink, we go really well together. And I'm not talking about the singer. But look, so thank you to the sponsors. Use the code Savva at OK Jersey. You'll get 8% off. Get them in now. Ready for the World Cup. The World Cup's starting soon, people. The World Cup is starting very, very soon. Rain, let's take a stock check, shall we? So this weekend, we saw Leeds win, which I think we kind of knew Leeds were going to beat Burnley. We knew Leeds were going to win that game, and Leeds have gone a number of points clear. We've seen West Ham lose to Brentford. Well done, Brentford. Well done, Thomas Franks, Brentford. Just kidding, before everyone in the chat gets annoyed. Brentford beating West Ham to make it possible for Spurs. And Rain, you're in the group with me. You've seen what I've said. For me, I don't want to hear that I need to believe. I don't want to be told that I need to believe. I need to see Spurs go to Villa, win the game, and show me that I should believe. And you know what? We did it. And I now believe that we can get out of this. What do you make of all of it, mate? What's going on?
We need to go again and again and again. You know, that's the thing. I'm not buying this. Villa put out their second string. That it is what it is. We've coped enough throughout the last year, 2 years with, not putting out our first team because we can't, to have no sympathy for a team that decides to not put out their grade A players. But they're still, they're still putting out Sancho. They're still putting out Barkley, Buendia. They're still putting out Tielemans. It's like their second string. I take quite a lot of those as our second. Second string, maybe not first string, but certainly I'd have them in our squad. Quite a few of them over what we've got. So we've done what we needed to do, and for the first time, is it the first time that we've had Paulinho? It must be the first time we've had Paulinho, Bentancur, and Gallagher play as a three together. And the way that
if I speak about that subject,
Well, we're going to speak about it.
We are going to. Yes, right. We are going to.
Yeah. Those three monstered. They monstered Villa. They absolutely. They did to Villa what Chelsea did to us at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
When Caicedo and Enzo just if you win the centre of midfield, you've got a really, really, really good chance of winning the game. And yesterday they had Barkley, Tielemans. They were chasing shadows, and every time they got the ball, you knew that they could feel that on the hairs of the back of their neck that they were being hunted down by two or even three players. It was so good. On West Ham didn't just get beaten.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny, Ray? Just slightly off topic, right? So I was about to give my door number away there. I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm sandwiched in between, obviously, my two neighbours. My neighbour that side is Chelsea. Right, good lad. He's a good lad. And the neighbour this side, Steve, he's West Ham. So Saturday morning, we were both outside washing our patios. It was, like sun's out. The wives have given the husbands jobs to do. Just get out there. So we're all out there doing our jobs. And Steve went, big weekend. I said, yeah, what do you reckon? He went, I think we'll just have enough to scrape past Brentford. And I said, I tell you what, I'm worried about Villa. And it turns out that it was completely the opposite. And he shouted over yesterday when I was having a barbecue, and he went, I think we're fucked. he went, I think we're fucked. I said, I think we might be all right now. It was just how quickly football changes in 90 minutes.
I went and had my Barnet chops on Saturday, and Dave, the Chelsea season ticket holder, I've talked about him before at Barber. He did my lad, so he chopped my lad's hair, and afterwards I went to him and went, so do you think you're going to end up relegating us? And he went, no, I think you'll be relegated before you get to us. I need to go back, Sav. I need to go back in a week or so. I need to go back and go, really?
I think the interesting thing with this is, look, Rain, you know me. Look, from my point of view, I am an embarrassed Spurs fan in terms of where we are. I am embarrassed in terms of what's happened to this club over a number of years. And for me, I'm not a fan that thinks we are 100% safe, because you know what, Rain? We're not. We're not. Until we are, we're not, right? And I live by those kind of facts in my life. At work, I don't do 70% of the projects and say to my boss, I've done. I say to my boss, I've completed the project when it's in her inbox and she's happy with it, right? So, my boss is wicked, by the way, my new boss, just saying, she's absolutely fucking brilliant. Anyway, other than the fact she calls me rich, and I don't have the heart quite yet to tell her that I don't like being called rich. Anyway, we move on. And look, this is why people are going to celebrate. For me, it's about, right, okay, 4 games to go before yesterday. It was right. We just got to get enough points to stay up. There's the first one done, tick. You know what, Rain? Like you said earlier, now move on to Leeds, beat Leeds, right? It can't be, hey, we won a couple of games, everything, beat Leeds. And I'll say it, sorry to all the 550 people in there, beat Leeds. Ask Arsenal to do us a favour and beat West Ham, right? Ask Chelsea today. By the way, after this, I'm going for a pub lunch with my my 2 brother-in-laws and all of her family, and they're all Chelsea season ticket holders. So beat Chelsea, beat Forest. Forget all the rivalries at the moment, Rain. Forget all that. Chelsea to beat Forest, Arsenal to beat West Ham. We beat Leeds. Suddenly you're going, hang on, we're 4 points clear with 2 games to go. That means West Ham would have to win their last 2 and we would have to lose our last 2. When we get to that stage, I'm going to be, Rain, you know me. You've known me for a while now. I'm going to be relieved. I don't think it's going to be a celebration. It's going to be, right, okay, we got there. Now let's rip it all up in the summer and let's go again. I don't want a good end to the season to paper over what is a really poorly put together football club. That's what I would say about it.
So it's not just Arsenal beating West Ham. Newcastle beating Forest as well. We need as many. Leeds have gone. I can't see Palace on 43. That's got to be fine. Well, it has to be fine. Is it fine? Wait a minute. 9. I guess it's not technically fine. It's still not.
What are you looking at the league table?
I'm looking at the league table, and like technically, if West Ham win 3, it goes to 45. It can't go above 45. It can't go to 45.
Yeah.
But we need Forest still in there.
Do we agree that Leeds and Palace are essentially are safe, right? Unless suddenly Leeds and Palace lose 3 and West Ham, Spurs and Forest all win their last 3 games. I think those two are safe, right?
Yeah, it's not going to happen, is it? It's too many. There's too many teams there. The 3 of us, but Newcastle picked up, haven't they? Bruno.
Yeah.
Bruno. I can never say his surname. Absolutely. Guimaraes, that's it. He's come back and instantly, they look like a more solid, more robust, more productive side. So next week, Forest, if Newcastle, do us a favour with Forest. If Arsenal, they desperately need to beat West Ham, that's going to be an absolute. That's going to be a tear up there at the London Stadium.
Yeah,
and then obviously we play last. So we'll know what's happened, and if we are still out of the relegation zone, the stadium is going to be absolutely rocking. Absolutely rocking. I wasn't planning on going because it's a weekday game. I don't normally go to weekday games.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go.
Look, I think the key thing here is, right, I mean, I'm looking at West Ham's games. They've got some tough games, right? But for me, listen, I've seen this club in a shambolic state for too many years to just sit here and arrogantly say, yeah, we'll win the next 2 or 3 games. Like, I can't do it. I want to do it, Rain, but I can't. But looking at this table now, West Ham United, we know. Let's have a look. Have I still got... So I've not streamed for so long. I've forgotten what to do. So if we... some of these games won't really apply. So if we look at West Ham have now got Arsenal at home. Now, I think Arsenal, for me, look very focused. I think Arsenal will win their last 3 games, and I'm worried they're going to win the league. But that's a different story. I think Arsenal will beat West Ham at West Ham. Newcastle, right? Newcastle at Newcastle. After that win the other day, I can't see West Ham getting anything there. Leeds at home, I can see them getting something depending on what situation Leeds are in. But if I go conservative, I think West Ham will get 3 points from that 9. Now that's not a guarantee. Just 3 points for me. That means that Spurs need just 3 points to stay up. The question is there 3 points between Leeds and Everton at home and Chelsea away? Now, I don't know about you, Rain. I never, ever feel that we're going to beat Chelsea away. It doesn't matter what circumstance. It doesn't matter who the manager is, what the team is. It doesn't matter if Harry Kane's up front. I don't think anything there. But Leeds now becomes a huge game, right? And we've got to get that home hoodoo off our back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just sets us up, doesn't it? We need that space. We need to keep that momentum that we now seem to have picked up. And isn't it funny? We seem to have picked up some momentum
at the right time.
At the right time, but also without Romero in the back line.
We're going to come to individual players in a little bit, Rain, because there's a lot of players that I'm going to talk about that I'm so happy are not playing, and it's coincided with Spurs picking up points. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we absolutely. It's. I mean, our home form has been just so atrocious for so long. I mean, my pound per points ratio at White Hart Lane is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
I am spending a lot of money per win. We've got to go and just roll over. The thing is, Leeds are actually playing really well, aren't they?
They are. They are. If we look at it, right, Leeds United in their last 6 have won 3 and drawn 3, right? They don't concede many goals. They're very well organised. They got the fight in them, and they're not mathematically safe, right? They're not mathematically safe. So I think for me, I can't imagine that this weekend that Farke is going to send them out with relax, guys. You know, they're going to work hard. They press. They're strong. I think it's going to be a real battle Saturday, by the way. I think it's going to be a Monday, right? Monday night. Monday. I think it's going to be a real battle. And look, win it, I think we're safe. I do. I think if we win that game, I think we won't be mathematically safe. But I think, can you see Arsenal, West Ham winning their last 2 if they need, and Spurs losing their last 2? We'll see. But we're also bringing Forest back into this now, right? If we look at this, Rain, Nottingham Forest now, what Forest have got over West Ham especially is that goal difference. So whilst they're only 3 points above the drop, they are 4 technically above West Ham, right? Because the goal difference of 15 is huge. So the question is, can West Ham make up 4 points in the last 3 games on Forest?
I mean, what Forest have got above all of us, when you said goal difference, but it's goals. They can just bang in goals. They've got players all across that front line who can score. If it's not Morgan Gibbs-White getting a hat trick, Chris Wood is just a solid. I know he had a spectacular season last season, but he's just a solid 10, maybe 12 goals a season.
Yeah.
Premier League striker, and he is exactly the type of reserve, second or third string striker at your club who you'd love to step up now, because he'll just do what he does, and he'll put into. He's a type of player who'll go 5 games without a goal, and then he'll score 2 or 3, and that's how he'll pick up his goals. The only thing about Forest, when I was watching them, you do wonder if they might start getting a bit desperate, and they might start losing their heads a little bit if they get dragged back in to the mix. There's
let's have a look at the game. I mean, there's Forest games. So they got Chelsea. Now they have got all 4 of those. They got Chelsea away. I can't see Chelsea not winning that. I think the win against Leeds last week, getting rid of Rafinha, looks to have given them a bit of a lift. They got Newcastle at home. Now that for me could be. It depends which Newcastle turn up. Man United away, that is not easy. Man United are a different force at the moment. They are, and again, we'll come to this a bit later, Rain, but the difference between Man United going out and spending £200 million on their strike force in the summer is now starting to show fruition. Whenever they attack with that front 4 of Mbeumo, Sesko, Cunha, and Bruno, they look like a team. And then they've got Bournemouth at home the last day of the season. So I think there's enough there for Forest to stay up. I do. I think West Ham are the team in massive trouble here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, none of those games. So on Man United, Cunha has just been absolutely fat. But I think at the start of the season, I probably would have said, Mbeumo is going to be that standout from their acquisitions. But Cunha's just been absolutely immense for them. He is so good, and obviously scored against Liverpool. And Sesko has started to bed in a little bit, hasn't he? Will they? Oh, do you know what? I don't even think it matters if they've got anything to play for. I think they will go out and they will give 100%.
Yeah.
I think
Carrick's not going to. I think there's too much of this in football, Rain. There's too much of people saying, "Oh, these teams have nothing to play for; they'll be on the beach." Rain, as you saw yesterday, what I put in the barbecue group, FHTV barbecue part 2. What you saw I put in the group yesterday was there was like 5 or 6 examples from the weekend's games, not in the Premier League, of Championship, League One, and League Two teams that had nothing to play for, but were playing against teams that had to win to get promoted, or to stay up, or to go in the playoffs. And those teams picked up points and they had no need to. So I don't ever believe it's as simple as they've got nothing to play for. These are pro footballers. Leeds United coming to Spurs. By the way, I love it in the chat, right? People going, we shouldn't be scared. No one said to be scared of Leeds. All I'm saying is Leeds are in form. They're a good team at the moment. They're strong. They found a formula that works and they don't concede many goals. So before people do the whole, we'll just slap them up. It's okay to show a little bit of respect to your opponents, right? It's okay to acknowledge they're in good form and it's a big game, because what I don't want to do, Rain, is sit here and start going, we're done. We're done. We'll smash Leeds. I hope we do. And then we get to the end of Monday night, Leeds have hypothetical, Rain. Leeds have a smash and grab 1-0 win and we go, shit. Suddenly oh my God, we've got 2 games to go and we're not safe. So I know there's a lot of people that get very knee-jerk, very reactive, but this is Tottenham. We know what we're like, right? We know what we're like. So for me, I think we've got to make sure we do our job. And that is why when people are going, oh, no, it's okay, let West Ham get a point against Arsenal. No, I don't want West Ham picking up points. There are direct rivals in a relegation battle. Why on earth would you want them to pick up any points that get them close? Like, I can't wrap my head around that, Rain, as a common sense concept. I can't wrap my head around it.
No, the whole Arsenal, obviously we had the thing with Ange where he lost his head, and I think lost quite a few fans. I think that was the real start of the downfall for Ange, when he criticised a certain amount of fans who said that, and I think it was a very, very small minority who said, that they'd be happy for us to lose against City. I was quite clear. I didn't want us to lose, but I wouldn't have been devastated if we lost. If we lost that game, I wouldn't have been absolutely distraught. But this is for Arsenal and Man City to work out. It's nothing to do with us. It's and are we not in the? Wait a minute. We were at the one point where we are still. So we're it's still in City's hands. So Arsenal can go and win all of their games. They can go and win against West Ham. They can win all of their other games, and City can still win the league. So let's just let them sort that out. And we'll concentrate on us, because we are.
Worry about us first.
We are in desperate straits. Big up, Dan.
Yeah, I'm seeing so many. Sorry, I've got a different chair today. I've put my streaming chair is now my work chair in another room, so it's all a bit weird. I feel weird. Morning, Dan. How are you, sir? You all right?
Oh, morning. It seems like I should watch less games, because every time I seem to miss the first 2 games that I've missed all season, we seem to bloody win it. So I guess I won't watch the next one.
Well, look, we'll get to the actual game in a minute. We will dissect the game and the team, etc. in a minute. I just think, from my point of view, guys, I've learned over the years there is a need to be humble about this football club. It's not that I think Leeds are amazing. It's not that I think Everton are amazing. It's not that I think Chelsea are in any sort of, it's not the Chelsea of old. But for me, just have your eyes on the prize, and the prize right now is staying up, right? The eyes, I don't know if you guys agree, the eyes right now for me isn't about whether Arsenal win a league title or not. That's secondary. If we can stop them on our tracks, fine. But the eyes on the prize are when we get to the last day of the season and that whistle blows after hopefully we've beaten Everton, that Tottenham are a Premier League football club next year. If Arsenal win the league, they win the league, right? If they win the league, they win the league, right? I care more about Tottenham staying up.
Yeah, stopping them in their tracks was not losing 8-2 this season.
Yeah.
So
right. Well, look, let's move to the actual game. Look, I thought he got the lineup absolutely spot on. I'm going to start as I mean to go. Dan, I'll start with you. I'm going to start as I mean to go on, right? Just to ruffle a few feathers as well, right? Players I don't want to see in this 11, like the main 5 I don't want to see in this 11, weren't in the 11 yesterday, and Tottenham looked better. I'm going to go with Vicario, Romero, Gray, Bergval, Solanke. I'll add Sarr in for 6. I thought he got the team absolutely spot on, Dan. And this is why, Dan, all year I've said the midfield is the most important part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Stop this youth experiment with a Gray, with a Bergval, with a Sarr. Play the men. Keep a settled team. And how much different do we look with Gallagher, Paulinho and Bentancur as a solid, experienced 3, Dan?
It does. It shows that you've got 3 men in midfield. And I think most of us have agreed that even though we've all got our own different version of how we'd want to play football as such. Me, I'm a very defensive, counter-attacking person that other people want to play tick-tock, other people want to just attack. I think one thing we've all agreed on is a place you can definitely win a game is in midfield. If you can control that midfield, you control that game, basically. You do have a good say on what goes on. And that is what we've done. I watched 60 minutes of it this morning because I didn't get to watch the game yesterday. And yeah, I can't complain with none of that. We just looked more solid in midfield straight away as soon as we got Paulinho and Bentancur there. And at the start of the season, a few of us did say that, but a lot of people did not like the idea of Bentancur being in there with Paulinho because it didn't match the Spurs way of play or whatever way you want to put it, or it was too laid back. And I think that's one of the things that done Franking, basically, that he gave into that one. But we looked twice as stable. As soon as we got men in midfield, and we didn't have our full team out there at all, we looked significantly better. So that should definitely be telling this manager something, which I think it is.
Yeah.
And here we are. It's now in the palm of our hands again. It's now down to us on where we go. Yeah. If we win every game, they win every game, we stay up. It's on our hands now.
Absolutely, Dan. I mean, Rain, I think, listen, I don't think we could say anyone had a bad game yesterday, particularly. I think they all played really well. But for me, that midfield 3 really stood out. And again, I noticed it against Brighton as well. The midfield 3, for me, is everything in a team. And a lot of people were saying, weren't they, Gallagher's shit. Well, Gallagher was shit because he was being played on the right wing or right wing back. De Zerbi, to his credit, has brought him in, played him as a pressing midfielder, which is what he is. Mm-hmm. And he works his bollocks off. He wins tackles. He covers ground. He's now added a goal. He brought Paulinho back in that many of us wanted to see. Again, works his bollocks off. He's a man, wins tackles, gives the ball to those ahead of him. Bentancur was slagged off by most of this fan base. Get him out. We want Sarr instead of him. We want Gray instead of him. We want Bergval. We've come full circle, Rain. And that midfield 3 now, surely got to leave it like that, haven't we?
I mean, the other is So Gallagher obviously was playing in that 10, and with Paulinho and Bentancur behind him, and it wasn't just the pressing. It was my little sort of my little thing that I love to watch. It's one of the reasons why I've been going to watch football for so long, and I prefer to go and watch rather than watch on the TV because it's that much easier to see, which is how much work these guys do off the ball. They're always either covering for each other or making options for each other, and you saw that yesterday, even in the second half, with Spence down that right-hand side, he was doing little 1-2s with Conor Gallagher. And Conor Gallagher was setting him. I haven't seen Spence do that. I haven't seen Spence get down, make those runs. Oh, I can't remember the last time I saw him. The last time I saw him do that. And it's all of a sudden when you've got some of these players, working hard, and it's just, you just need to just give yourself another couple of yards, right? Just give yourself a couple of yards so you're not hiding behind an opposing player to give you to get, and then you do a triangle. And once some of these players start doing it, all of a sudden, all of them start remembering, oh yeah, this is how you play football. So it was so good to see in that first, that blockbustering first 15, 20 minutes where our players were closing them down in packs, and then passing around the Villa players as if they weren't there, and I think that really demoralised the Villa central midfield. They knew what they were up against in that first 15, 20 minutes, and we kind of saw the game. So it's a shame that we didn't get more goals, and we did ride our luck a little bit, but that it just goes to show when you've got players who've got the experience, who've made mistakes in the past, they now come in. This is what you get. This is what you get.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, I mean, Rain's not wrong, but again, I feel like it's if you play the players in their right position, is always a good start for me. And it felt for months and months and months that we'd had a lot of 4 at the back 1 week, 3 at the back the next week, wing backs 1 week, wingers 1 week, 2 up front 1 week, 1 up. It feels to me very much now that it's, yes, he's got more players to pick from. I must say that. De Zerbi, to be fair, has walked into more players to pick from, but he's doing the basics very, very well, De Zerbi. Is that fair to say, Dan? Like in terms of a right back, left at left back, centre, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, bar that first game that he done, where he has done 2 games now, that you look at it and you just think, mate, what were you actually doing now? I think he's got his idea on what he wants now. I think he's got his idea on how he wants the team to perform. And I think he's also got the idea now of what these players are actually capable of. And it does come down to a very simple thing again, that again, a lot of people have spoke about. If you just get a team, at least play him in the right position, to the right formation, get the right player to do what he's good at, not try and get him do 10 different things at the same time and everything else, you can make a pretty bog standard team look pretty good. And I think that's what he's done with us on the past 2 games. I mean, against Wolves, were we great? No, but we got the job done, which we haven't been getting done all season. The dirty wins count as much as the good wins. And then you get one yesterday where we actually looked like quite a solid team. Was it because Villa didn't show up? Was it because we put it on them at the end of the day? I don't care. We looked good from what I saw in the 60 minutes. We got the result. Yes, it comes to the last minute. It gets a bit anxious, but it wouldn't be Spurs if it didn't. And here we are, basically. I think a lot of it does come down to simplicity. If you don't get the simple parts right, how can you expect a manager to then go out and get the more complicated side of it right as such? And I think he's realised, right, if I look at the simple part here, there's no point on trying to get complicated here and everything. I've only got 4 games left to do it, 3 now. Take it the simple way and take it from there. And I think that's pretty much what it looks like he's done. And I hope he sticks to it, basically.
Yeah.
I think in defence, we look... How do I put this?
Say it. Just say it. Don't worry about offending Lubo. Say it.
I ain't going to offend no one. I just think in defence, we look significantly better without Romero. I think we look more stable, personally. Don't get me wrong. On his day...
I'm going to give you props because you have said for years, right? Since we signed Danso, you have said Spurs look more stable with Danso because Danso doesn't have the peaks and troughs. He is a solid 7 out of 10 every game and does his job. And our fan, Romero is a World Cup winner. how much better do we look every game since Romero's gone out this team?
It's because
how much better?
It's because you've just got that stability there, and like you said with Danzo, I'd pick him all day long for the sheer fact of I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a average of let's say a 6.5 a game, with the odd 7.5 and the odd 6. You know there's stability there again. You know there's consistency there. Whereas with Romero, you get your 10, your 9, your 8, and then you get 4 2s and a 4. You just don't know whether you're coming or going with him. Even down to the fact, the one that has impressed me as well is Kingsley. I don't think he's been nothing special in goal, bar that last save that he pulled off in the last game. But one thing I've got to show respect to the fella for, and respect isn't something that I show people very often. It's more common courtesy with me. But that bollocking and that slamming that he got in that game against Atletico Madrid, which was, at the end of the day, it is what it is. He did deserve it. He was absolutely shocking. To have the mentality to actually come back onto the pitch and stand your ground like that, credit where it's due at the end of the day for me on that one. Because I think a lot of people, a lot of other players would have totally mentally folded under the situation that he'd basically put himself in. Yeah. So you've got to give people credit when it's due as well. And I think fair play to him as well for being able to come on and be a steady goalkeeper. I mean, you can definitely see the difference in his passing compared to Vicario, where it makes it on the pitch, it actually gets to a player.
Yeah. I mean, go on, mate. Go on.
On Danzo, very quickly, let's not forget, and I know, we don't want to talk about it, long throw, that's what led to Conor Gallagher's goal, right? Long throw went in, pinged, came out to Connor. Lovely little takedown. Not quite, but almost, almost Bentley-esque, the way he just took it on the inside of his foot. Took it down, not quite. And then rifled it into that. And the thing about, I make you right, Dan, and props to you, mate, because you've absolutely been on this, consistently on this train. Danzo just wins duels. He just wins his duels. That's just what he does.
No nonsense.
Rain, he doesn't. But if he doesn't spend his game running into midfield, kicking people up in the air. He doesn't try Hollywood passes that give the possession away. He doesn't slow the game. See, Romero, I keep hearing he's the best passer at our football club. He slows the game down to a point where I'm like, oh, mate, he slows the game down to the point where everyone in front of him gets him back in position. I'll be honest. I've been in the Danny fan club on this subject for ages. I don't want that guy at my football club. No. I'm not saying Danso's the answer. Doesn't mean I'm saying Danso should be the number 1 centre-back next year. But for me, what he does as well, how much better does Van der Ven look when he's not next to Romero dicking about and making mistakes?
I'd be very happy for Danzo to be 4th choice, in the squad. Squaddy. You need squaddies, right? You need squaddies. 4th choice. He's clearly done his dues, He's shown that he's happy to be in the squad, and then he comes in and he just, and like Dan says, he just delivers like a 7 out of 10. He just comes straight in. He doesn't need 2 or 3 games to get up there, and he knows where he is in the squad. That's the types of players you need, right?
Stability, isn't it? It's basically plain Jane simple, no nonsense centre back, John Terry style. Now I'm not putting him on the same level as John Terry, not at all.
Yeah, I know what you
mean.
But
same sort of defender, no nonsense centre back. Just do your bloody job. When in doubt, kick it out when you can. Just do the bloody job, and that is what we need at the moment. Pure simplicity, stability is what we need right now, because that team is not made for complicated things. So let's not make it complicated.
Just quickly before I bring you in, Lubo, big up to Blaine Dev, wherever you are, who's just bought me a coffee. Well, for the amount you've put in, be 2 or 3 coffees, depending where you're buying them from. Thank you very much, Blaine. Really appreciate you. He said, I've just had my large iced latte, time to have yours, Sav. I won't. It's funny. I've got an app called Buy Me a Coffee, and I don't like coffee, but listen, I like hot chocolates and stuff like that, so we can go down that route. Thank you very much, Blaine. Let me do some quick super chats before I bring Lubo in as well. Big up to Ian JD. How you doing, Ian? Said great win. Can we finally put to bed the Gray and Sar experiment? Yes, please. We'll be talking to Lubo about that a bit later. It doesn't work. These 2 players should be sold or put on loan. Oh. Oh, can't wait for that conversation. Big up to you, Ian. Really appreciate that. Tony out in Sweden said, anyone missing Romero? I never miss Romero. I've never seen the hype with him ever. Lionel Messi won the World Cup. I'm not Romero. My mate Messi won the World Cup. Big up to you, Tony. Big up to the Two Mark Show. So big up Savva. Big up to you, Cookie. You sexy bastard. Hope you're well. Big up to Mark Taylor, who says square pegs in square holes. Simple. Yep. And we'll talk about what De Zerbi's done a little bit later in terms of coming in and adding belief and adding shape and adding men and pressing and whatever. We'll get to that. Big up to you, Mark. Really appreciate that, my man. Big up to Blaine, who's coming again and said, what a weekend. Mortgage free. Oh, big up to you. Cool. Wish I was mortgage free. Spurs winning and the birthday today. Happy birthday, my man. Big up to you on your 25th birthday again. I love it. Big up Savva, Rain and Dan, and Lubo's here now. So big up to all of the guests. Big up to you. Happy birthday, my man. And big up to Simon F. He said, Bentancur is the anchor. Absolute class. Thank you very much, Simon. We're going to talk about that. Lubo. And Andy Lester with a cheeky little super sticker. Thank you very much, Andy. Really appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very, very much. Lubo, what are you making of things at the moment? Talk to me.
How nice to be a Spurs fan this morning, eh? Lovely.
Yeah. 17th is lovely. I love it. Yeah.
Well, listen, we were 18th yesterday, so things are on the up.
I'm joking. We can finish 14th, Lubo.
Could we? What if Palace and Newcastle? Well, listen, I think whufc came on. He was giving it large, wasn't he, the other day when we were on the stream, giving it large, big time. And Forest could lose all 4 games. They're playing 3 teams who are going for Europe in Chelsea, Newcastle, and who was the other one? Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth? Bournemouth, and they've got a trip to Old Trafford. So we might be going on to the Wolfie show saying good luck to next season.
Don't you think that they're going to be safe though? Like if I show you this, Lubo. So if I show you this, hang on, let me remove the banner for 1 second. Where's the banner? God, why have I forgotten how to do YouTube? So here's the relegation timeline. Here's the battle. If you look at Forest games, they've got basically 4 points on West Ham, Lubo, because of the goal difference.
Yeah.
I guess the question here is going to be, can you see West Ham making up 4 points on Forest? If we take us out the equation for 1 minute, can you see West Ham?
Probably not, unless Forest get whacked each game, in which case, having said that, West Ham have got Arsenal and they've got a Newcastle who, interestingly enough, PIF came across, met with Hal, met with everybody for their yearly review, and all of a sudden, Newcastle were playing football. All of a sudden, after 9 defeats in 12, Newcastle gone back much, to where they were last season, the season before. So Newcastle's next 2 games are Forest and West Ham. So they could be doing us a big favour because they're only 3 points. If everything works out, Villa and Palace win their trophies, 9th place could get you into Europe, and Newcastle 3 points off 9th place. So they're going to be going for a European spot. So it's interesting.
And they've got Bruno Guimaraes back, Lubo.
Yes, they have.
And he's a
good player.
He's a top footballer, Bruno.
Yeah,
he's everything I want in our midfield. Bruno Guimaraes, good player.
Yes, no, super. So for me, am I happy today? Listen, I came on. I know I got a bit of grief because I saw little green shoots at Sunderland. We were unlucky to lose. We only lost to a deflected goal. They had 2 shots on goal the whole match. I thought it looked, although our forward play, funny enough, first 10 minutes, I thought we looked very good under De Zerbi. Then it sort of drifted off a bit. But we did create chances. Richie could and should have scored 2. You could see from Forest, from where we were against Forest to Sunderland, you could see an improvement, and it's got better and better, which is what you expect because you've got a top manager who is, and the one thing he's doing is unless he's hampered with an injury, he's not changing the team up, is he?
Right,
he's keeping his formation. He's keeping his 3 at the front, 3 up front. And listen, you're right, Sav. He has got a lot of his players, but I mean, listen, having said that, we had 9 players missing again yesterday. Good comment. I was saying.
Thanks for not saying blood or fam. I
Um,
was born in Lewisham, but yeah, I leave that to others. I leave that to others, my man. I leave that to others.
Listen, and the funny thing is, it's funny. A couple of us were joking last night. Someone said, "Remember you said about 18 points in the last 12 games. Win the next 3, and we got 17." So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that isn't too far out of prediction. Listen, good result. We're not out of it yet, but I think the momentum's now with Spurs. 7 out of the last 9 points. And the team looked good yesterday, didn't they? He had everybody in their positions. I thought the runs from deep, we were talking about who's going to make those runs. Will Gallagher make those runs? Udogie was making late runs that were just superb. They were hitting long balls for him to run onto that were just terrific. Another day he would get in. He nearly got in. He got fouled on the edge of the box at Sunderland, and nothing was given. So you can see certain things that Deserve is doing, and he's got them organised. He's got them playing. All the players know their role, don't they? They all know what they're doing, and the confidence, the joy that the first time passing that was going on, and we were playing round them. And okay, yes, Villa rotated, but these are good professionals. Tyrone Mings, Ross Barkley, Jadon Sancho. Come on, these are good professionals. Let's not belittle these players that Villa put in yesterday. And we went out, and I certainly, even having seen Villa's team, I still thought maybe a draw. I didn't, in my wildest dreams, think that we would.
It was very comfortable, wasn't it? I said draw when I saw the team, Lubo. I said look, we've got to be guided a little bit by the players that they put out. You know, I thought when I saw the team, I changed my mind from a defeat to a draw, but I didn't think we'd be that comfortable. And let's be fair, I know they scored in the 96th, maybe, but there was no part of me at any. I'll be honest, this is the first time in however long that I've watched the game and thought we're not conceding, to the point where it was like, they're not even getting in our box like this. It almost felt like a pre-season friendly, even though we were fighting for our lives. It just felt very, very comfortable. But look, Luba, I've got to ask you the impact that since Bentancur's come back in, and there's for me, it's not a surprise that since Bentancur's come back in, we're starting to see Conor Gallagher play as the Conor Gallagher we kind of knew from Chelsea and Atletico. He's got that right, hasn't he? He's got that setting right.
Totally. I think it's the first time he started with the 3 of them, isn't it? Because he's been playing Simmons. And I thought the 3 of them looked terrific together. Terrific. You wouldn't have got that Gallagher performance out of Simmons yesterday. Absolutely no way. With all the pressing, closing down. I was watching Gallagher. We were 6 rows from the front along the side, and the intensity, the press, the speed. I mean, he was still flying after players in the 93rd minute. The guy's got phenomenal energy, and it was just superb. And you're looking at that team, and I know Alex has put out a video saying I'm really pissed off. Where's that team been all season? But I think that when you look at what's gone on this season.
Really?
Yeah. when you put everything into context and the injuries which have decimated the team, Tudor that was an appalling appointment. Absolutely.
The madness of Igor Tudor.
It didn't work, did it?
It's just madness.
It was a punt based on his record doing it in other countries, but I think what these managers don't realise is that there's an intensity in the Premier League, and it's a completely different ball game to Italy, to Spain. It's on a different level in terms of the movement and the speed of the game. And I think that probably shocked him as well, which is why we needed somebody like De Zerbi, who's Premier proven. And knows the game here, and I think he's doing a fantastic job so far. Really, when you think of Forest 6 weeks ago, how we played that day, and you think of yesterday, I mean, what he's achieved literally in a month.
I'm just gonna word of caution. I'm not in on the De Zerbi has turned us round. I know everybody else might. I'm not in on it. I think so much of it is to do with the fact that we've got Bentancur back and we've got Paulinho back, right? And we've got and I think you said it, Lubo. We've got Udogie, but I think Udogie makes such a difference to this team for no other reason. He's the only person who's got a left foot, right? So and the overlaps that they were doing yesterday, even before you came on, Lubo, I said it. Even Spence was doing overlaps and getting down. Was Gallagher was doing a little flick, and he was getting down the line.
I think
for me, I don't think De Zerbi's done anything tactically sort of masterful, but he has done what he said in the pressers, which he's made them understand that they're Premier League footballers, and just told them go out there and do what you know you can do, and he's given them some belief. It's less coaching and more man management.
Listen, do you know
more mental strategy.
Just for a little bit of balance, right? And no, I didn't rate Tudor. Can we before? I'm going to say we've also got to take into account a little bit of what De Zerbi walked into versus what Tudor walked into were two very different scenarios. Now, that's not taking anything away. Listen, you guys know I'm a huge fan of De Zerbi. I was very happy when we signed De Zerbi. My issue is not, is De Zerbi a great manager? My issue is always going to be, are Enoch going to back him, right? But we'll get to that later because that's a different story. Where I felt for Tudor, and not it being Tudor, insert manager name, right? Insert manager name, Tudor, Dyche, whoever came in at that time, Redknapp. What I felt for was that they walked in with 13 first-team players fit and available. And I think it makes a difference. What I think De Zerbi's walked into is he's got the nucleus of the men back fit in the middle. So Paulinho, they're saying, is now fit. Bentancur come back into the team and fit. Gallagher is now fit. When he first joined, Gallagher wasn't fit. And I think De Zerbi has walked into that, but knows how to implement it. There's two different things, right? It's having it and knowing what to do with it are two very, very different things. And De Zerbi, for me, has walked into that and acknowledged, hang on. And it's almost what Tim Sherwood said. He's kind of gone, right, square peg, square holes. Get me the men that know how to get out of this. And De Zerbi has done that. And for that, maximum respect to him. However, I agree with Rain on a bit that before we go waxing lyrical about he's done, we seem to do this whenever a new manager joins. If they have a bit of an uplift, we all lose our minds and go mental.
Yeah.
For me, first of all, objective one, stay up because we're not up yet. Whatever anyone says, we're not. Yeah. Whether you think we are going to or not is not the stay up. Objective two is De Zerbi now going to fall into the same pattern that every other manager has fallen into where they start well. We say, if this manager's backed, then they're not. And we're going, see, this manager's shit. He can't do it. So I'm kind of with you, Rain, but De Zerbi has done a very good job with what we are.
The other positive, sorry, Dan, just very quickly. One other positive that I'll give him is he's managed the phasing back in of players really well. So obviously we've lost a few players, but Paulinho, there was we were calling for it, Sav. Just play Paulinho, but he's obviously what he's done is he's deliberately phased him back in. It's not I don't fancy Paulinho. It's I want Paulinho to play for the rest of the season. That's what he's done, and fair play to him. Fair play to him for having the integrity to do that rather than just I'm just going to chuck him in. I'm just going to chuck him in because I need him. He's given him 30 minutes, and now he's given him the whole game. And do you know what? We need Paulinho. Sorry, Dan.
Brilliantly. Just if anybody's takeaway from my little monologue, right, was that I was belittling De Zerbi, give your head a wobble. absolutely give your head a wobble. That was not what I was saying at all. Just calm yourself.
You're belittling him. I think you should go support Arsenal, mate.
Oh, it's fucking mental.
I think it definitely shows. I think it definitely shows, though, like with what Rand said, it does actually help when a player decides to turn up.
Of course.
Do I think Udogie is a big difference to this team? No, I really don't. Do I think he's anything special? Since he's been Spurs, I think he's been a flop, basically, to the potential that I see him have in Italy. But when a player does decide to turn up for a game and actually get a couple of things right instead of screw everything up every 5 minutes, it does actually show it does make a difference. And the player doesn't need to be special to do it. I think it just shows how low down on that barrier we actually were, whatever way you want me to put it. That's all it takes is a couple of players to turn up and have a good game, not even a special game, and we look significantly better. Because we have been absolutely that poor that even when we played crap, we've been sitting here saying, well, we've played better. Yeah, because we haven't played bloody crap, basically. And it is madness how a few things can change when a few players just decide to pull their finger out and get their act together and do their basics, let alone be special.
No, look, absolutely. By the way, listen, again, I think people let their emotion get the best of them. So, like, whether you liked Frank or not, to say he didn't start well just simply isn't true, right? He started with a 2-2 draw against PSG, followed by wins against Burnley and Man City. And then we were third in the table after about 10 games, something like that. So to say he didn't start well, I'll say this before I bring Danny in. People, take away the emotion of whether you like someone or not versus the facts of what actually happened. I think that's the difference, right? I don't rate Ange as a manager, but I can never factually remove that he won this club a trophy, right? Two very different emotions. Danny, where are you at with this? You've been I told you sowing all bloody weekends. Go on, have your stage, or you tell me to fuck off again. Come on.
Yeah, fuck off, Savva. Fuck off, mate. Get on board, mate. No. I did say we were going to win 2-1. I called it. I said we'll win 2-1, and I've been consistent for months now that we're not going to be relegated. I'm one of the few that said we won't get relegated, and I've been consistent with that. And it's because I believe that we won't get relegated, because I think, and I've said this before, not because the players are good, but because I think the teams around us, like the West Hams, I think we still have enough, and I've always believed we have enough to stay up, right? And especially with teams like West Ham, I still think they're not as good as us. And because of the run-ins as well, that's why I believe we will stay up. And if you look at it now, right, I can't see where West Ham pick up any more points. I really can't see where they're going to pick up any more points. So I think if we beat Leeds, right, the only team where I think that West Ham could pick up something is against Leeds on the final day. But it might be too late by then. But at this moment in time, I don't think they're going to get any points, right? I think we'll get at least, if I'm looking, and also I don't think we're going to lose another game this season. I just don't think we're going to lose another game. So
even Chelsea away,
I don't think we're going to lose.
If ever there was a time to beat Chelsea, Dan, I mean, this has got to be one of the most frustrating bits of it. If ever there was a past time in the past 10 years for someone to try and take advantage of a Chelsea situation, now is the time, basically. They are just not looking good. They're not looking stable. But then again, you go and look at us, we don't look the same either. One game isn't going to change all of that. I think the thing you're going to have to watch with West Ham is them and Arsenal. Them getting 3 points at Arsenal. The reason I say this is because Arsenal, for me, are now going through that stage of the year where anything is impossible or possible with them, basically. They always do it every season without fail. I think West Ham are more than capable of getting another 4 points. I think we're capable of getting another 4 points after the past 2 games. Chelsea is a game, I just write that off. That just goes down to history. If we get something out of it, then brilliant. But the other 2 games, I think we can get 4 points out of that. And that's from what I've seen on the past 2.
Can I just say one thing as well? Like I know it's just off. Well, it's not off topic, but I know Phil P was saying that I also said a manager cannot make a difference. Now I say that if you use context, Phil, right? A manager for Spurs long term probably won't make a difference, right? Because we know what the board are going to be like, right? But for me, if you're going to have a chance of something happening, you bring in a manager that's going to work for this club in the right way, right? And for me, De Zerbi is the exact type of manager I like. I love these type of managers, especially he plays. To be honest, the style of play is just an addition. But I like someone who speaks the right way, who gives confidence to people, right? And he's got passion, right? I can't stand managers who are just tone deaf, who just talk rubbish. He speaks sense every time you hear him speak, right? So for me, what I love about De Zerbi is how he's not excusing anything, regardless of injuries, regardless of what's happened, right? He's saying, I don't care about that. You still have the ability to go and beat who's in front of you, right? That is exactly the vibes that Pochettino had when he was at Spurs, that he turned us into a team that made us believe, right? He made the fan base believe. This is exactly the type of manager De Zerbi is, which is what. And look, I'm not going to talk about. You might talk about it later in the show, but I'm not going to talk about right this minute what's going to happen if we stay in the league, or I believe we will stay in the league, right? Because right now it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It matters about what happens in the next 3 games. That's what matters.
And Danny, much like Dan, I'm not really that fussed if we play counter-attacking football.
No,
possession football. But I do accept that as a fan base, our culture is an expectation of attacking football, and I have seen so much hate thrown Frank's way over the last week or so, right? Agreed. And it's almost exclusively because you have to have some context. You have to understand that at one point Frank literally had 11-fit players, right? So there is context to why we performed the way we did under Frank, but the bonkers thing with Frank was getting a coach like Conte, like Nuno, like Frank, who doesn't intuitively play attacking football. It will never work with our fan base. Our fan base will never accept it. There's too many people in our fan base. As soon as there's a dip, they will go at that. They will go at that coach. They will not give them the time. They will not give them the benefit of the doubt. And you know what? That's fair enough. But our owners and the higher ups, they need to get that in their head. And De Zerbi is definitely that guy. He's definitely 100%. That guy. You saw yesterday, it was just like City at the start of the season, Lubo. That away game where we absolutely went for them. We pressed high. Funny enough, that game was Paulinia, Bentancur, and I think it was Sarr. I think was it Sarr?
Yeah,
it wasn't Bergvall, it was Sarr.
Oh, no, Sarr played in the 10.
Yeah, and it was again, it was press high, it was get the ball, it was
transition quickly,
it was that front football
quickly.
that people that Spurs fans expect.
Can we all agree though? I don't know if the panel agree or everyone in the chat. Wouldn't it be lovely from this point moving forward that every single time we play a game of football, we don't have to compare to Ange, to Frank, to Tudor, to Pop? Like, I'm getting so bored. Like you go in this morning and you think we've won a game, and it's like, oh Frank, oh Ange, and it's like, oh God. Whether you liked Frank, whether you liked Ange, whether you didn't, like we've got De Zerbi, right? De Zerbi's our manager now. Why can't we talk about what are we going to do in the future? What are we going to, we will, after we finish talking about the game, we're going to talk about what Spurs are going to do if we stay up. And I think, we will from this stage. But it's just got, I don't know about you guys. I just found it, maybe because I'm online quite a lot, I found it really boring that everything is compared to Frank. Everything is compared to Ange. Everything's compared to Tudor. They all had very different situations and scenarios. For example, if you had said to me, Tudor had these 21, 22 players, right, that are fit right now, or there were the last game, I think a little less this week. No, there was 20 players, right, in the squad this weekend. 20 senior players, no kids on the bench, right? If you had said that was the same for Frank and for Tudor in all their games, I think then you can start making comparisons. Right now, none of that matters. We are where we are. De Zerbi's got them where we are, and we know what we need to do to stay up. I'm just so bored of the constant talking about Frank, Ange. I'm bored of hearing, I'll be honest, I'm bored of hearing Poch's name. Every time we lose a manager, I hear Poch's name. I'm bored of hearing Conte. I'm bored of hearing Jose. Fuck off. Right? I'm so bored of it.
You're always gonna get, and to an extent, have to bring the previous manager in. But for me, you don't have to bring the previous 10 managers in. At the moment, right, what's happened with Frank, what's happened with Ange, done and dusty, baked potato, see you later. But I will be comparing the manager at the moment to what Tudor done. That's the only way, for me, you can look at a manager and compare him to anything. Because if you don't look at the previous manager, how can we sit here and state that this manager's doing any better, or this manager's getting this right, or this manager's getting that right?
Results.
But if we're talking about what he's changed in the team, so you do compare to the previous manager, but you don't need to compare to the 5 previous managers. So at the moment, we can sit there and say, well, Tudor got this wrong, Tudor got that wrong. We can turn around and say, well, it looks like De Zerbi's got this right. He's got a different idea. You can only compare to your last. I don't agree with comparing with the previous 5. But at the moment, it looks more stable, and you've given the reasons for it, and that the midfield and everything, and he has got different play. It's like one thing he's definitely had the advantage on is the midfield. I mean, it's like a body. Without a heartbeat, it don't work. You can have the fittest body on the planet, but if the heart's knackered, it ain't working. And that, for me, is where your team basically is, your midfield. That is where your heartbeat is. That is through your spine line, whatever way you want to put it. And he's definitely had one thing that a couple of other managers haven't had in that aspect. But we are at that point now where it's, do I really care about the future? Not right here and now. The only future I care about is the rest of this season. And then we've got to take it up from the next season. So...
yeah, we'll move into that, but let's go back to the game yesterday, guys. The game for me, it was definitely a game of 2 halves. I thought first half, we were absolutely excellent. I thought the press led by my boy Conor Gallagher, I thought was absolutely superb. I thought it was one of the best presses I've seen from any team all season. We created a number of chances. Second half was a lot more. I think you could see that the players looked a bit more tired, which you would expect from the lack of football from Paulinho and Gallagher and Bentancur and Udogie. But it was still very controlled. It was still very much a couple of breaks maybe from Villa, but nothing really. Does anyone see it differently? Anyone disagree with that?
I thought it was comfortable. I thought you can't keep up that intensity. I mean, we were very close. We were 6 rows from the front yesterday, and
not when you haven't got a bench anyway, Lubo, like a bench of quality like Villa had.
Well, listen, I've funny enough, I've read an article in one of today's papers questioning how strong Villa's actual squad is. It's funny, you know, their first team is very good, and the drop off when you have 5 players missing. Big drop off.
Yeah,
but this is why a lot of pundits were saying when people were going, "Oh, could Villa win a title?" It's like, well, no, because the difference between Villa and City and Arsenal at the time is Arsenal can go right. Odegaard's missing, Eze, you play. Martinelli's missing, Trossard, you play. When Villa lose Watkins, there's a drop off. When Villa yesterday didn't have Onana, McGinn, and Kamara, you're playing Bogard, right?
Well, it's like us, Savva. Look what happens if we lose Bentancur. We can't win a game of football.
But Danny, that's why you've got to. This is why Emery's such a good manager, though, because he hasn't got that squad, and he's still going to get them Champions League football and possibly a Europa League title. So,
but their squad is still a lot stronger than our squad. Look at their bench. Look at the team they played on yesterday, their first 11, and look at who they had on the bench. Obviously, we know that they were resting players for the semi-final, but still, they still have a far stronger squad than what we have available.
Yeah. I mean, the drop-off from them to Arsenal is a big drop-off, but then the drop-off from them to us is also just as big as the drop there, basically. So, they might not have...
To win titles, you've got to have... you've got to be like Arsenal. All right.
Yes.
Saliba can't
Man
play.
City.
And Cappy goes in at centre
exactly.
half. Yeah, exactly.
But even the drop-off that they have from losing, say, 3 of their best players to bringing in 3 of the squad players, our drop is 10 times deeper than that one, basically. So they have a better squad than we do in everything overall, but they haven't quite got what it takes for the depth in the squad to take it up to that next level, basically.
Coming back,
Arsenal was celebrating getting Calafiori back and replacing Nketiah. I think we'd be very happy with Nketiah as well as our first choice left back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Coming back to yesterday's game, the press in the first half, literally, we just suffocated them.
Yeah.
Every time they played the ball out, we were straight up the back of them. We were nicking balls away from them every single time. They couldn't move. It was just superb to watch. And this is what you want as a fan. Jesus, I've seen enough shit. We've all seen enough shit this season. To suddenly see that was so many levels above. For me, that was the best performance since City away. I thought
it must have been a great day out, Lubo.
Well, it's funny actually because we were watching the players warm up and they had smiles on their faces and there was a buzz around the fans. The vibe was excellent, and you just felt it was a good place to be on. Good match to be, and we were going to do well. And you just saw from the first 2 or 3 minutes, bang, straight in, no messing, straight in for that pass. They couldn't move. They couldn't get out. They didn't have one shot the whole of the first half. Still sent the stats through for the first half. We had 8 shots to their 0. They had nothing. I don't know what the possession was. It must have been about 75% Tottenham.
It's even more crazy that we had 8 shots and we haven't really got a proper creative outlet in that team at the moment as well, which is even more crazy.
Lubo, first half, Lubo, the stats were 63% to 37% for us. 8 shots to 0. Obviously, 4 shots on target to 0. 2 big chances to 0. 3 corner kicks to 0. Passes, we completed 257 out of 282. They only completed 143. But basically, have a look at all this red for us and for them, nothing. Look.
Yeah.
Like we were back the second half. They wrestled possession 53 to 47. They had 5 shots to our 2, but I don't really remember 5 shots of note. Do you know what I mean? I don't really remember.
I've got to say that apart from punching away an in-swinging corner, was it? I can't remember Kinski making a save the whole game. No. Not one save. I thought their goal, great header for their goal. Superb header. I thought that was class from Buendia. They played it in. He was in front of Mickey. Mickey couldn't go through him. And I thought he directed it was a lovely cross and a lovely goal. Apart from that, I thought we were absolutely terrific. And again, 1 shot on target conceded. That's 8 in 4 games. We used to give away 10, 12 and 15 per match. This is 8 in 4 matches, which shows you how much better organised we are.
Captain Fantastic left the 11.
Who?
Captain Fantastic. Your captain.
My captain. He will be in a few years. He'll be there. Don't worry. Listen.
I'm talking about Romero.
Romero.
You see, naturally, your brain went to Archie Gray.
I thought you were talking about Gray.
Naturally goes to Archie Gray. Naturally.
I thought you were talking about Gray because we were talking. We have been talking about midfield, haven't we? But,
I thought the word captain would give it away, but okay.
I'm so glad Gray's not playing.
I mean, with the team we got there as well, the only thing I think we definitely have to watch there, I think we went about the game in the right way. Like I say, I saw 60 minutes of it this morning, basically, so I knew the result anyway. I think one thing we definitely have to be slightly careful of, though, is burning them out in the first half. Because from what I did see of the 60 minutes, basically, it definitely looked like we backed off a bit in the second half and they put the pressure on. But I don't necessarily think that's because we backed off and said, well, give us what you've got and we'll take it from here. I think you could definitely see a few of the players were definitely worn out coming through after 60, 70 minutes. And with the small squad we have got down to the injuries and that, I think that's just one thing we have to keep an eye on, that we don't cross that borderline in the first half as such, totally burn the players out, that they just haven't got enough for the second half. And again, I think it looks like we got that pretty much just about right, basically.
I think the other worry, to be honest, that nobody's actually mentioned is that Bentancur went off with an injury. slight injury. And Van der Ven rolled his ankle as well. I don't know if anybody saw that. It was in front of us. He rolled his ankle. He
said he's okay. He said he's
all
okay.
right, is he? Okay.
Well, De Zerbi said he was okay at the end of the game. But
good.
With Spurs, Lubo, you never know. Someone rolling their ankle normally turns into an ACL. Yes, you don't know. But look, it was a much better performance. And I do want to give a little bit of credit to a player that I liked when we signed him, and I know a lot of people are giving a lot of stick to. I've heard a lot, and it seems to be the same rhetoric from every fan that Gallagher isn't what was needed, right? Yet we're all sitting in now going, De Zerbi's put the mentality into them and turned them into a pressing team. If that's the case, then surely Conor Gallagher is everything that you need. Like, do you know what I mean? You can't have one without the other.
He's a De Zerbi type of player, no question about it.
So is Paulinho, to be honest.
But Lubo, can I ask you a question? Let me ask you this question, Lubo. I know you've never said anything bad about. I've got plenty of players I can dig you about, Lubo, but Conor Gallagher's not one of them. You know, you've got Mauricio Pochettino, who absolutely loved Conor Gallagher and has said publicly every team needs a Conor Gallagher, right? Made him his captain, right? You've got Simeone, who said, I wish I could have given him more minutes, but the squad, there's just too many good players at Atletico, and he bought him. You got Unai Emery, who tried to sign him for Villa. Thomas Frank raved about him, right? Roberto De Zerbi saying, when Conor Gallagher plays, it's like playing with 12 men because he does the job of two people. Yet you've got...
That was Andrew's dream signing, wasn't it?
But you've got most of the Spurs fan base going, Conor Gallagher's not what's needed. He's not good enough. That's a shit signing.
Do you know what I think?
These top managers know, Lubo, that we don't.
I'll tell you what well, listen, I could say that because several managers have played Archie Gray and you think he's shit. So I could use that as well. But going back to
Gallagher, because De Zerbi's coming immediately and gone.
No, listen, but Gray shouldn't be in the first 11. You've got three midfield players who are way ahead of him in terms of their senior pros.
Four.
You know, you think four? Basuma?
I don't think four. But Basuma compared to Gray?
I don't know about Basuma. Basuma, it depends what day of the week.
Superior.
That is a fair point on what day he does, if he turns up, isn't it?
If he turns up, for me, there's also that. Is he further down his development to Gray? Of course he is. You know, he's an international. He's played many games. But with Basuma, you never know what you're going to get, do you? Unfortunately, you could have a brilliant player who excited us when he was at Brighton. But by and large, since he came to Spurs, he's probably underachieved compared to how he played at Brighton. I would have.
Luba, I always feel like you're going to get one or two good games from Basuma when he comes back.
Yeah.
And then he tails off, and then he goes away for a bit, and then he comes back, and you get, two, maybe three decent games out of him, and then he tails off.
Very inconsistent player, isn't it?
Or do you know what, Dan? Or consistently like this, right? There's a consistency to him, but it's an inconsistent consistency, right? We need to be rid of Basuma.
I agree with Tony Rodriguez says, though. Basuma is better than Gray. I'll take Basuma over Gray right now.
I don't think Gallagher was the man we needed, and I still don't think he's the prime man we should have been looking at for the situation we was in. I think a lot of people would have agreed if we'd have got a left winger out there who could get that ball in there and score a couple as well, or got ourselves a playmaker in the middle. But I think Gallagher is one of those players that a lot depends on who he's got around him, basically. He needs the other 2-3 people around him to be doing their job so he can do his job as such. I suppose you can say that.
I also think, Dan, what you probably wanted to add.
I think he's a player, Dan, that if he starts playing to his standards and starts ticking with everything, I think he's one of those players that you will notice more if he's not in the team than necessarily when he is in the team.
Squad.
Yeah, but like Rain said, it also he's someone you want in the squad. Like if we were, I think I was so on board the Gallagher signing when we signed him, and still am, just because of the type of player that he is. But of course, in that situation we were in January, you want to see a Gallagher come in, but you also want to see other players, which is what we all expected. We all expected to have at least 3 players come in. Like whether that was loans or whatever, we all expected 3, not just one bloody signing. And we just had like 7 injuries in a month. So I think that's where some people probably were like, oh, we didn't need Gallagher. But in truth, we do need Gallagher because we're trying to build a squad, not build a team for the last 6 months.
Correct. Danny, you can never have enough good players in a squad. Always. No,
I agree with that.
And I think what Perchy put on the WhatsApp group today, that you need 25 good solid senior
pros. Where is
pros.
That fraud anyway?
No. Listen, I don't agree with a lot of what Perchy says, but he put something on today that was absolutely spot on. You want 24, 25 top senior pros with a few kids thrown in as well, and you've got a really good squad, and that's what the top teams have.
There was a couple of moments. There was a couple of moments yesterday. There was one towards the end where Paulinho sort of won the ball back on the edge of our box, ran it out, took a foul, let's just say, and and really celebrated it. And there were a few moments when Gallagher did the same thing.
Porro did as well.
And Porro, and when they were celebrating, not just the outstanding moments, they were celebrating the professional moments that they were winning as well. I was here with Sav when we signed Gallagher, and we were both saying this is the character. He's the character.
Yeah.
He's the type of character that we need in this squad. You think how few leaders we've had, in how devoid of leadership, not just in the squad, but also, Lubo will agree, also up there as well, right? Up top in terms of the higher ups, the leadership that we should be receiving from Vinay, etc.
We're desperate leaders, aren't we?
And getting a player like Gallagher into the squad to because I want when Xavi and Maddison are back, right? When we get both of them back, I want them playing 10. If I'm brutally honest, right? That's what I want. I want that kind of creativity there.
Yeah.
Gallagher did an absolutely fantastic job, and he will do an absolutely fantastic job. But I want a squad of players. I don't just want an 11, and then Gallagher goes out, and then all of a sudden we're scrambling.
Has this not always been our problem, that we've only really had 11, 12, 13? Go right the way through the years. We've never had a big squad, have we?
But this is why, Lubo, I think it would be I mean, the way I've seen De Zerbi, how he talks about Paulinho too, for me, I think he wants Paulinho, right, as a permanent signing. And I think it would be absolute criminal not to sign him for the price that we could get him at, right, for the squad. Because we all know Paulinho is not going to be that player in terms of his fitness and how hard he works. He's not going to be able to play every single minute of every single game like, say, Gallagher could do, right? But he is someone that is going to offer you a lot if he's in your squad. And I think that's why we need more players like him in the squad.
For sure. And another 6. The same way the Villa have got Anana, they've got Bogard, they've got Douglas Luiz.
McGinn.
They've got 3 60s there. We've got 1.
Yeah.
So again, it's when it comes to next season, if we're still in this league, again, I think it's just where a lot of people are going to have to...
When, Dan? When?
Whatever. I think a lot of people are going to have to sit back and look at some of the standards and quality of players that you actually want in this team. I think we are well behind where we should be looking at quality players as such. What we need to look at next season, in my opinion, is be happy with finishing 10th and 9th, and that there's a big improvement on the stability of the team. I think that is the main thing we need to build on this team. You need to build a spine line on there, get a rock on there, get stability on there, and then start adding the better players to it. And I don't think that's going to happen in a matter of a season. It'd be nice if it does, like it does with Man U, but I've never seen us do it like that, so I'll have to see it to believe it. But I think we need to get that stability first, be happy enough with 9th next season, and then want to see an improvement on the following season, basically. We are that far behind.
I agree with you. Do you know, for example, we've heard these rumors about was it Marco Sensi, and we've heard about Senesi, and we've heard about
Senesi and Robertson. Yeah.
Robertson and these type of players, right? They're all good if you can bring in other players. Like if you go and sign them, right, and then you go and sign, say, a Locatelli, and then you go and sign a left, and you spend your money on a left winger, a striker, and a midfielder. I think that is what you call building a squad. If you go and do that, right? If you go and do that, like because you can then get some quality players who are improving your squad, right, with experience as well. And who are good players, right? Because I still think Robertson is a good player to have in your squad, especially as a left-footed rotation player with a Dogie. And then if you've got someone like a Locatelli as well as the option, and say my dream would be like bring in Locatelli, bring in João Gomez, get a left winger and a striker, get rid of Richarlison or Solanke, whoever, I don't give a fuck, one of them. And then you start looking at a squad, but. I just don't. For me personally, I just still don't believe whether ENIC are going to do that. Like, you'd be quite stupid to think, right, that after the season that we've had on the cusp of relegation, and then they're going to go and repeat the same kind of transfer windows that we've had in the last 2 years.
Surely, if we stay up, then that's got to be their warning.
Yeah, I know that. And this is the thing. This is where, like, I will struggle.
Isn't it a blend? Don't you think it's a blend? Like, what I mean by this is like, so when we were in the WhatsApp group last night, my one and only WhatsApp group, which has about 1,000 messages a day, people are going, oh no, I don't want Andy Robertson. No, we can do better than that. We can do. The problem is, this is a squad that needs strengthening everywhere, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to just go and drop 50 million on a right back, left back, centre half, centre mid, striker, wing. But that's just not how it works.
And not how Tottenham work either.
And exactly. So for me, if you're turning around and going, right, I don't know, I'm just going to make this up. Spurs have 150 million to spend in the summer. I don't know. I'm just spitting, right? If we've got 150 million to spend, you go, right, what's the key component of what we need? Well, I think we all agree we need a left winger. I don't think there's anyone out there that doesn't agree. We need a first choice proper left winger. We need a proper ball playing midfielder. I think we all agree with that. Yeah. And I think we need maybe two, and we need a proper forward because I think Richie will go and whatever, right?
Yeah.
So if you said to me as a fan, right, the bulk of the money is going to go on those 3 or 4 positions, right? And to complement that, we'll get Robertson, who's a free. We'll get Senesi, who's a free, right? And then maybe someone like a Curtis Jones for 20, 25, 30 million from Liverpool, something like that. I would turn around and go, that's sensible squad building, Danny, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that Robertson has to be here for 5 years, but that's a senior pro who won the Premier League last year, right? He's the captain of Scotland. He's homegrown. So if you're going to drop something like that, but most of our fans, Danny, you know what they're like. Most of our fans already, I'm seeing,
they think he's football
17th
manager.
last year, we're 17th this year, and we're starting to belittle these players already. Not good enough for Spurs. Like, well, hang on. Let's build a sensible squad. Yeah. Right? Next year, like Dan said, if we get Europe via the league, brilliant. But can we stop doing that thing where we all go, we must finish 5th. We must 17th 2 years in a row. Next year, just show me vast improvement and squad building. Right?
Yeah.
Just show me that we're getting rid of some of the crap, bringing in some sensible players. And if we finish 5th, superb. If we finish 8th, much better than the year before. But people are not realising the gulf in I mean, look at the league table.
Entitlement is the phrase you're looking for, I think.
Look at the gulf from Bournemouth and Villa to where we are.
I mean, Bournemouth could get Champions League football this year. Like,
it's a gulf in terms of points. 37 to 58, right? We're talking about 21 points. We're talking about 7 extra wins over a season, which, fine, we might do, but can we not acknowledge for once, and sorry for the monologue, can't we acknowledge for once as a fan base that we need a proper reset, and we need some time where De Zerbi's not judged after 6 months, where players aren't going to be judged after 3 games, you know. Sorry.
I'm waiting for the but are they as bad as yes, they are as bad. There's a reason we finished 17th twice. You know that it's not a reflection on them personally. It's a reflection on how our club has built a squad. It's not a reflection on Gray. It's not a reflection on Sarr. It's not a reflection on Bergvall. It's not a reflection on Odebear, on Tell. It's the fact that our club has been bonkers enough to throw all of them into the same squad at the same time, and we're suffering for it.
Rain, we've got a squad of 29. We've got 5 kids, so it's a sixth of the squad. It's not a big amount. The big problem has been that we've been decimated by injuries, and
that's definitely.
And these kids have been thrown in and played a lot more minutes than they would have done because of injuries.
The injuries definitely haven't helped.
And you got to look at it. You got to look at it. I saw a table yesterday for the amount of hours. Is it hours? I think that our players have missed in Premier League football, and we are 85 hours ahead of the next worst injury-stricken team, which was Brighton. It's horrendous. We are so far up on everybody else in terms of minutes missed by players this season.
It's done no favours at all.
They've got to look at this, Dan. I mean, I saw something on social media the other day, and I don't know because I've not looked into it yet, but they were saying that we had a performance director that joined around the same time as Ange. And since he joined, this is the same director that was meant to be out on the pitch, that was trying to get Simmons up and running, that had Kulu bouncing up and down on his smashed up knee. I mean, if this is correct, this is absolutely horrendous. I don't know whether it is, but this is what's written. You can't believe everything you see written on social media, obviously.
Lubo, this comes back to the age old though, Lubo, doesn't it? This comes back to, we had the warning last season and we didn't take heed of that last year. We've had the warning if we stay up this season. Are we going to take heed of it this year and have a clear out, or are we going to go, no, it's all right, we'll just rely on Kulu and Maddison because they'll be 100% fit next year? And, you know, I'm not blaming those two. I'm just, are we going to take heed of this, Lubo, and really change the way the club is run? Or are we going to just go for a third year in a row where we just pray everything's going to be all right?
Well, listen,
final warning.
You know how I feel. You know how I feel, but the way the club is run is the macro side of things, and you know how I feel on that. And if they don't change, if the new owners, so I say new owners, if the younger Lewis family don't change, if this isn't a wake up call, it never will be, because.
Hang on, sorry, Lubo, sorry, just comment like this, Adam. The only reason we weren't in danger of getting relegated last year is because the 3 at the bottom were so shit.
Yes.
But my point was, Adam, my point was, if you finish 17th, then with by and large the same squad, but with having sold Son and not replaced Maddison and Kulu, you finish 17th, 16th again. At what point are you saying that the writing's on the wall? At what point are we going to go, right, can we learn from this, right? It shouldn't take a club of Tottenham's size to nearly get relegated for us to realise what needs to be done. Is that fair, lads?
This is where where we're going to see what ENIC are made of, right? In the summer, Again. For the
25th year,
because the thing is, Sav, in 25 years, we've never been in a situation where we're about to be relegated or we're so close to relegation, right? Yeah. And obviously, of course, it's
49 years, Danny.
Yeah, this is exactly it. So, of course, we're still in that relegation battle right now. I like I said, I don't believe we will get relegated. I think we're staying up, but we are still in that battle, right? And we're not safe yet. So, the fact that we're still in this position, right? If ENIC do not change their ways, right, and I haven't seen this as like a reality check, then I think it's fair to say, boys, that we're never going to change. Like, ENIC are never, ever, ever going to change, right? Which means we're going to have to rely on the club doing just enough to stay in the division or to float around the 10th position, or do you know what I mean? Because they have to change it. They have to.
You'd hope so.
By the way, Danny, this season's
I hope so.
course
Yeah,
to be
you're
better
right,
than
Dan.
last year, Danny. Did you know that?
Yeah.
If we get 2 more points from our last 9, we've actually had a better league campaign than last year. That is mental, isn't it?
Improvement, Sam.
That is
It
mental.
is
Yeah,
that
we've got
bad.
better. We've got to take it all back. I take it all back. We're better than
We got
last year.
better with a worse squad.
Last season, like I said, last season, I said it in January, like we won't go down this year because it is purely because the other 3 were just that diabolical. I mean, that was one of the worst teams. Who was it? That was one of the worst teams you've ever seen in the Premier League history. Was in there, wasn't it?
Was it Ipswich and who else? Was there?
Yeah, and they still managed to beat us. I mean, and with that, we really had nothing to worry about. And this is where I was worried about that Europa Cup. Was that actually any good for us to win it? Okay, it looks good on the register as such, but I honestly don't think it done no favours. It made a lot of people ignorance is bliss sort of thing. It basically put wallpaper over cannonball holes in a wall, not just bullet holes. And people, they sort of lost all, there's no problem. We won it. This is a one-off. It will never happen again. And here we are, basically. Can we finally, for once, not be that mate that always hung about with you that without fail would be getting the taxi home at 11:30 because he was already too pissed to last till 1, 2 o'clock? And that is what we just seem to be all the time. For once, can we just go out and have a good session, basically, and be able to walk home with our mates, not get carried home at 11:30, basically? And for that, again, it comes back for me to the stability side of it. And I just think a lot of people are going to have to sit back and wait and just be satisfied with significant improvement. Not expecting us to go into next season and be fighting for a champion. Yes, a club of our size should be spending this, should be spending it, but it don't, and we ain't in that situation to deal with it how it is at the moment.
Well, it's like Dan, if we look at it realistically, right? Also, the other thing I want to touch on is that the way De Zerbi wants to play football and the way that he is, and the way that you just feel that the players are all kind of believing him, behind him for now, right? But what I get a sense of is that the players actually want to play the style of football that he wants to implement and his philosophy of the game, right? So there is a possibility that it can attract players, because if you've got players like Robertson, I know he's at the back end of his career, right? If there are players like Locatelli that he can somehow bring to this football club, right? Then you're looking at it from a different perspective, because then you're seeing players that actually want to play for De Zerbi, right? And play for Spurs. So I think that's also going to be a big thing, because if you also look at next season, right, there's going to be a lot of managerial changes, I think, in the Premier League. It's going to be a lot, right? I think Chelsea will have a new, Man United might have a new manager. Arsenal could potentially have a new manager. Who knows? Like, there's going to be a lot of change. Pep might be leaving City, so there's a lot of changes.
I don't just want to see players that all of a sudden, we're doing better because they want to play this style of football. I mean, for me, that deserves a slap in the face.
Which is why players like Romero need to be sold.
Exactly. I don't care whether you like this style of football or not. This is how you've been told to play. Go and do your bloody job. Now, you get the player, you'll get the most out of him to play the way he wants to play. But that is where you do look at quite a few of our players, and I don't see a very professional side to a lot of them, because a lot of them do seem to have that little bitch attitude of, well, we're not playing the way I want to play, so I'm not even going to give it 100%. Even if you know that is not your way of play or the way you want to play, you're still meant to give it 110%. I don't care whether you play for the club or whatever. At least play for your own bloody pride. Dan, and I think we do seem to have a lot of players that don't even seem to want to play for their pride and only want to play a certain way. Well, sorry, this is your job. Do it.
Dan, that's why it was a shame we didn't get Andy Robertson in January, because a top pro like that lifts the levels instantly.
I think he's a good squad player, definitely.
I think he's great.
Significantly better than what we got.
Sav, can I just sort of go off on a tangent slightly and answer it's Sunlight game on his...
Hang on, what time?
12:40. 12:40. It's the one in Capitals.
Who is it?
It's a liar game, 26. 12:40.
12:40. You know me. I love calling out people in the chat. Let's do this.
Savva's favourite pastime.
It's only a game. This one.
That's it. Let's take this. Fans like me are to blame because while I'm giving them their money, they won't leave.
Oh God,
The biggest problem, and this was outlined. Fun enough that just having a chat with a few of the away fans yesterday, we're just saying that why don't fans protest like they should do against ENIC? Because the hardcore fans like myself, the number of hardcore fans have been watered down, particularly since the new ground was built. And there aren't enough. There are more day trippers now. There aren't enough people that go to protests like myself. I'm not going to be chased out. I'm not going to allow myself. I've been going, to stop going to Spurs. I've been going regularly every single home game since '69. I'm not going to stop now because of these owners. I support the team, not the regime. So the problem is, it's about getting people to protest. Boycotting it. If I don't go, I've got a very nice seat, thank you. Someone will take my seat. They'll just take it. It won't make the Lewis's set up.
It's only again you've directed your comments at the wrong person, mate. Because I'll tell you this, I go to protests and I always see this man there. So you've done yourself in, right? Because this guy, I don't think there's anyone who cares as much about Tottenham Hotspur Football Club as Lubo.
Then he should appreciate how a fan feels. Why should I give up going after all these years because of these owners? Why?
I think the funny thing is I see this all the time, right? And when people say, I see it aimed at Stell quite a lot, and Lubo quite a lot. Well, you guys pay. It's kind of like, well, okay. But if they don't pay, isn't someone else going to pay? And equally, it is their football team, right? It's their football team. So this is the scenario I always put forward. Lubo, tell me if I'm right or wrong here. This is the scenario I put forward to these fans. So let's say Lubo reaches the point where he goes, right, I'm not giving them any money. Here's my season ticket back, right? And then the season tickets are all bought up. And then Spurs change owners, change structure, and suddenly Lubo says, I want a season ticket again. They go, oh, sorry, Mr. Lubo, you're 20,000th in the queue for a season ticket.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, right? Is it's easy to say, just don't go. And I said I wasn't going to go, right? And I've been sporadically. It doesn't mean it's the right or wrong thing to do. But why would someone like Lubo that's gone since the 70s?
60s.
That's gone since the 60s.
Yeah.
He's going to turn around and go, oh,
back in the day.
Only a game on YouTube has told me that I'm the problem because I pay, even though I've watched Spurs through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 90s, whatever the terminology is for the 10s and the 20s. I don't even know, right? This man has been, as much as I will rip into Lubo for his opinions on players we don't agree with and whatever, this man's been going to Spurs for over 60 years, and people are going to say, you're the problem because you pay to go and watch your football club. Give your head a wobble. Give your head a really, really big wobble, right? No matter how shit Spurs are, no matter what owners are here, we were here before, depending on the age, correct. We were here, everyone on this panel was here before ENIC.
Yeah.
And God willing, the football gods willing, we will be here after ENIC have gone. So give your head a wobble.
Say one.
Stop it. Sorry, Rain.
I'm going to say one more thing, which is they actually want fans like me and Lubo to give up our season tickets. They don't actually want season ticket holders. They've been diluting the season tickets for the last 15 years, right? My next door neighbour who's been going since the 70s, right? My season ticket neighbour who's going since the 70s, still goes on about the cup games coming out of the out of the season tickets.
Yeah.
And what they we actually get cheaper tickets, right? What they actually want with the seniors, the senior concessions that have gone, right? They want season ticket holders to not renew. there are two season tickets next to me, seats, which have been there since for 7 years. That the two older guys have given those up, and they're now just on general sale. The club wants to sell our tickets at 300 quid a pop. That's what they want.
That's right.
You won't get that finishing 17th every year.
Let's move away from tickets being sold. People saying, like Sam Boy in the chat. I know you're a United fan and you're always welcome here. You're always polite. It says, so why will the owners change the stadium still getting sold out? Dude, the stadium's going to get sold out whether Lubo buys the ticket or whether I do. Whether I do or whether a tourist does. The stadium's going to get sold out, my man. That's just the way life works, right? Alex, hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Oh, that was subdued. That was subdued for you, Mr. Box Office. What happened?
No, I'm relaxed. I'm chilled. Like
He's very chilled.
Because
sounds like a hangover, Alex. Is that a hangover?
Really? No.
You've been on a bender last night.
No. But to get back onto the subject, I think yesterday, just to get it out of the way, we were really good. But I question a lot about the context of that game, because watching the whole game back, Aston Villa absolutely terrible, right? And I don't know if that's because of Spurs or whether they just completely switched off. They didn't have that many players. I'm not going to say take it away from Tottenham completely. No, I'm not. But this is the reason why I've been saying that Tottenham have to win their next 3 games to make it ominous that we want to stay up, right? And people can say whether it's unrealistic or not, but I've said I'm sticking to what I'm saying at the moment. Sorry,
Alex. Can I phrase what you said a different way? Tell me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say, and I'll meet you in the middle here? Yep, Villa were under strength. Yep, Villa have got a cup semi-final. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, right? They were under strength. They've got a cup semi-final, so it could have been easier for Spurs. Is the real test going to be, right, all right, well, we've got Leeds on Saturday who are in good form, who won't go under strength, who are up for the fight and the battle every time they play a game. Would it be fair if you saw what we saw yesterday, but against Leeds at home and we got the win, would that convince you a bit more as a fan?
No, because I want the 3 games now. Sorry,
we've got 2. We've won 2 in a row.
Two. 3's not enough for me. 4 is definitely not enough for me. I want the 5. I want the 5 now.
But Alex, we don't have to win all 5 to stay
up.
I
know, but for me, at the moment, if you want to stay up, right, forget West Ham. You put yourself in this situation.
Yeah.
Letting West Ham and Nottingham Forest catch up to you since January, right? So if you want to show that you really are back, right, showing that you really wanted to get out of relegation battle, go and win the 5 games.
Yeah, but hang on, Alex, listen. And everyone will know I'll be as harsh as the next person and I'll critique as much as the next person. But as I said all week, and as Danny and I had on row on Saturday, like, I don't want to be told to believe it. I need to see it. And true to my word, Danny, you'll back me up. True to my word, I said, if they go to Villa and win, I turn around and go, okay, now I start to believe, because I'm not being told to believe it. I've seen it. So if Spurs now back that up, Alex, with a win against Leeds, who are in bloody good form, by the way, are hard to beat, that will then be 10 points from 12. And it doesn't matter about being back. It doesn't matter about how great we are. It's about 10 points from 12 will show that we do want to stay up, that the players are fighting, and that we are good enough to stay up, won't it?
Yeah, I agree. That's why I said I gave him credit, because I said it was a great performance. And I'll give him credit if they beat Leeds, even though that would be our 3rd home win this season. But, however, for me, I'm not looking at it like I'm saying, Tottenham, do what Nottingham Forest and Leeds have been doing the last couple of games. Worry about yourself, right? Get your results, get your wins, and then at the end of the season we can have a conversation. But at the moment, I'm not changing my stance. I am not changing my stance on this because I've heard this before. Believe. Sorry, I totally agree with you. I'll meet you in the middle of this one, yeah, because you know I say the same thing as you. I need to see it, Savva, now. Right? Sure. Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap anymore now, right? And to put to your agenda, right? I was going to say it on my video. That's why I didn't want to come on because I wouldn't focus on that, right? The people are saying that was it Zerbi's their manager, yeah, right? What was our best thing yesterday? Jules, yeah. What's Thomas Frank sing about? Yeah, earlier in the season. Jules.
Sure, but Alex, I think the key thing here is, and again, this is coming from somebody who's perceived as negative and critical, right? But if we ask to see something and we see it, I can't, it would, imagine I came on in today and went, no, I 100% think we're going down after I've said, show me Spurs, go away from home and show me. And we did. And the thing is, Alex, we didn't even, it wasn't like Wolves. We went away to Wolves. I thought we were really crap and grabbed the win. Yesterday was the complete opposite. We were so comfortable. And whilst I'm not going to sit here, Alex, and go, we're 100% safe because points are the only thing that make you safe. Surely if you go and grab the win against Leeds as well, you go, hang on, we're now in form. We're now 4 games unbeaten, 3 wins in a row. Surely at that stage you'll say we're safe and they've done what's needed. Because, Alex, the key thing right now is, and I agree, again, I'll use Lubo's terminology of micro, macro. The macro issues we know. We need to be shown over years and transfer windows. But the micro issue now is, have they got the fight and are they good enough to stay up? And if they do stay up, that's got to be the number one objective for any fan at this club right now, right? Yeah, is stay up.
Sorry, Alex. Just quickly, because I need to go. I think there's something in this, right? I mean, obviously, we all want to win every single game. But there is also, and we're all like, oh, we just need to stay up. We've just won the last 2 games. If we really want to do what we've been talking about in this summer, overhaul, get a proper squad in so that we can go next season, without having to be in relegation, then actually, is there something in what Alex is saying that actually towards the end of this season we need a statement? We need a statement for players who are going to look at us. We need to go into the summer on the back of 5 wins, so that players look at us and go, "Yeah, do you know what? Maybe this is a club that I want to join." Because I'm convinced that there's quite a few players over the last 6-7 months, like Semenyo, like Eze, like Morgan Gibbs-White, who've looked at Tottenham 17th, and gone, "Is this a club that I really want to join?" I think there might be something in this that we need a statement if we're going to go up. I need to head off. Yeah, I'll speak to you later, guys.
Cheers,
I don't want to take too much of this time, yeah, but because like I said, I'm going to have to say it in the video. I'm going to say it in the video, right? But Salil said our last best performance was Man City, right? Our last best performance was Man City away from home, right? That was on Jules, right? Yesterday was on Jules, yeah. We won all our Jules yesterday, right? That's when couldn't handle us in that midfield. Gallagher was I'm a critic of Bentancur, but Bentancur's been our best player the last couple of games, right? That says a lot about our midfield, right? And the people that were playing before, I'm not going to name them because we're going to have the same argument again. We only got till 1:15, right? Okay, so I'm just saying, right? Because it wasn't the strike force. Let's be honest here. Even though Richarlison scored his MO header, right? It wasn't Tell. It was that midfield of Gallagher, Paulinho, and Bentancur, right? And who played them earlier part of the season? And forget Gallagher. Who's played earlier part of the season and we got results?
Yeah, but Alex, I'll stick up for
Thomas
the club.
Frank.
Hang on, Alex. I'm going to stick up for something here. The problem is, whilst I agree with you on the most part, when you look at that lineup, I don't know about you guys in the panel and in the chat. I'm not looking at that forward line and expecting that that's where it's going to come from. I think I think everyone realizes that at the beginning of next season, that front three, none of them will be in the front three come day one of next season, in my opinion. Right?
No.
Mawani, you're on mute, Dan. Mawani,
I
Richie,
hope.
and Tell. None of those three should be in the first game of the Premier League if we stay up next season. Right? That midfield three, we know they've all played for big clubs, haven't they? You think they've all played for massive football clubs. They've all done good things in their career. So we expect it from them.
We're all
But
bigger
that
than
front
clubs
three,
and Spurs
Alex,
anyway.
I'm not expecting that front three to rip anyone apart. I'm not, when people are going, oh, Tell should have scored. I'm not expecting him to score because he can't score. I'm not expecting Mawani to score. So can't we look at that game and go, whether it was duels, whether it was intensity, whether it was whatever it was a good performance that we just need to now take into the Leeds game, right?
Savva, I'm just putting the question out there, right? I've said earlier, my first answer was Tottenham played well. They deserved the win, right?
Sure.
That's the credit you're going to get from me. Don't get used to it.
So I don't need the credit. You're all right.
Yeah,
I
get the no.
They
get the credit. That's the only credit they're going to get from me because it's been terrible this season. So that's all they're going to get. I'm just putting the question out there, right? Because that's what I am like. I'm going to ask a question, right? That was this because of Villa doing that, being rubbish and bang average, or Tottenham being good? We're going to find out the next couple of games. That's why I say 5-4 with 3 wins. Sorry.
Alex, that was a bloody good performance from Spurs.
It was.
I said it earlier, though.
Right. But as a fan, sometimes you got to enjoy a win without any caveats, because we've had enough bad times and we've had enough matches, post-match reviews where we've all been online and we've all been talking about how badly we played, how the team's been badly set up, how players aren't working hard, how we're giving away goals, we're not closing down players. There's been so much analysis that when you get a performance like yesterday, as a fan, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've criticised them on God knows how many occasions this season. Just want to enjoy a really good performance and a win, and enjoy it as a fan. Next week we move on to Leeds, and then we deal with Leeds. But for the moment, you've got to live in the moment sometimes.
It's what I said to you, Alex.
It can't be, we were great, but we've been shit the rest of the time, so I'm not going to enjoy it. Enjoy it. You're a fan. Enjoy it. And every fan, Danny, every fan deserves to enjoy it.
The amount of times I've heard that, Luke, I've been a minute here by now, the amount of times say, just enjoy it. Over the last 7 years, how many times have I heard that? You're the same.
You know what,
I've heard it from new YouTubers. Alex, I've heard it from old YouTubers.
But Alex,
it's 10 a penny.
Go on,
Alex, this is not my living. I'm not working for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. I'm a fan. So if you can't enjoy a performance like that, as a fan, what do you want?
But
seriously.
To add to that, Lubo, it's what I was saying to you, Alex, yesterday, right? Is that if you look at what De Zerbi's trying to do, right? And I've said this for weeks, the only way that Tottenham have a chance of staying up is if those players forget about what's happened in the past. That's the only way, right? It's like life, yeah? If you focus on the negative, you're going to attract more negative. You're going to have less confidence in yourself, less belief in yourself, and you're not going to progress. You're not going to grow, right? In order for those players to get out of the situation they're in, right, they have to believe that they can do it. That is exactly why De Zerbi is trying to make them believe. Even if secretly De Zerbi doesn't think a lot of these players are good enough, which I think we'll find out when the season's finished and we look at what happens in the transfer market. That's when we're going to know who he's going to really trust or not, right? But until then, he's got to make every single one of those players in that squad believe that they can do it. Because if they do not believe they can do it, what happens, Alex? We get relegated. That's the truth. That's what happens. So that's exactly why he has to believe it. So as much as you want to go on about the 7 years or 10 years in the past, the end of the day, Alex, right? That is the past. It cannot be changed. It's happened, right? You can only control what happens in the present right now. That's the only thing you can control, which is exactly what he's trying to do game by game. He's not looking at what's happening in the summer. He's not looking at what's happened before. They asked him a question in the press conference yesterday, and he was like, they were asking him, why do you think Tottenham's form has been so bad at home, right? But the first initial response was something on the lines of that, well, I don't know, right? Because the truth is he doesn't know because he wasn't there, right? But then he started alluding to, well, again, it's what everything comes back to. It's the mentality. It's the mindset, right? That's what, in football, right? I'd say 90% of being a professional footballer or top athlete at any high level is mindset. Is not the people that stand out more than other people. You can have all the ability in the world. If you don't have the mindset, you're going to fail. You're never going to succeed in any professional sport, right? Whether that's football, Olympics, or gymnastics, whatever it is, right? If you look, and I'll give you a prime example, right? Ndombele. He was one of the most naturally gifted players that even Gareth Bale, when he was at Spurs training with Ndombele, he goes, who's the best trainer? He goes, Ndombele, by a mile, right?
He just didn't have it mentally, did he?
Yeah, he didn't have the mentality because he didn't want to be a top athlete like Harry Kane. If you listen to the Pochettino documentary or overlap interview they had the other day, right? He said when he came in, Harry Kane had bad habits. But he had the desire. He wasn't the most technically gifted, but he had the desire to be the best. He wanted to be the best. Yeah, it's like Beckham.
Beckham and Kane were no special players by any means or manner. They did not walk into the football with being naturally gifted people.
No.
They actually made themselves what they are, especially David Beckham being one of the same as Kane. Whereas you get other people that will literally drop on it like a Messi or bloody Ronaldo.
Yeah, but that argument with Ronaldo for me is the prime example of someone who is dedicated to being the best, right? I don't think he's the most. I don't think he was never naturally gifted. I think he had ability, but he never had the ability he had until he really trained to be the best every single day.
Guys, would it be fair to say? Look, we've got about 10 minutes left. Would it be fair to say that? Look, I completely get it. Yesterday, good result. We can be happy. I get it. Why people are skeptical because we've been here before, where a false dawn happens and then we just slide back into being Spurs. But it's now up to De Zerbi and the players to make sure that doesn't happen next week, right? Mm-hmm. Because I'll sit here and say this now. If Spurs beat Leeds, I think we're up. I think if we beat Leeds, I think we're up because I can't see where West Ham are getting the points from, right? However, Alex will be absolutely proven right. If Spurs get to Monday night, bearing in mind we don't play for a week now. God, it's so boring once a week, isn't it? Yeah. Right? If we get to next Monday night and lose to Leeds, he's got a point, right? That it's all of a sudden, well, hang on, what happened to this great team that pressed Villa, that worked up? But we can worry about that next week, right? We can worry about that next week. But what I think it's just about keeping the powder dry. I think there's too many fans that they see a couple of wins and then straight away. And I think this is probably where Alex is coming from. Tell me if I'm wrong, Alex. Don't want to put words in your mouth. I think we see a couple of wins and then everyone straight away goes, right, we're going to win the next 7. We're going to do this. We're great. Next year we should be top 4. And I feel like we can't ever just take baby steps towards.
Yeah, it's like the extreme. It's like the extreme.
Yeah,
I'm not really complaining about other fans though, because I'm not really. I'm expecting it really. I'm just saying at the moment is that I'm comparing it to. I just think there's a lot of context from this performance, and I'm watching it back. I'm not saying that it wasn't a great performance and you deserve to win. I said it at the beginning, but when you have to. There are question marks on certain things that things as well. Like we pressed really well, but do you see half the players were like tired after most of that second half, and they had to be taken off. Richarlison literally couldn't stand up. Couldn't stand up. You know what I mean? What happened if Aston Villa did score and we only scored 2 goals? With all the great play we had, which we
I don't think there was anything. I don't think there was anything actually, other than the goals, Alex. I agree with you. I thought it was a great performance, but up front, it's not like we carved out opportunities. But again, I wouldn't expect to, right?
But my point is though, if Aston Villa got a goal,
sure,
right,
sure,
what would it have been like? Do you get what I'm saying?
But it's also, what if
but-
Tottenham got a goal, Alex? That's the thing.
Yeah,
what if
yeah,
Paulina's
yeah,
goal went
yeah.
in?
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
But again, Danny, you ignored what I've just said. I said Tottenham played well, but the thing is, though, we only scored 2 goals, and that's the point. They scored at the very end.
I think the Leeds game is going to be the test, because I think that the Leeds team we will see won't be the disjointed Villa team we saw yesterday. I think the Leeds team we see will be we know what Leeds are. We know what Leeds have developed into in the last 5-10 games of this season. They've developed into a good, solid team. Spurs can go and win that game. I think it settles things down. Before we go, guys, I want to get something from you guys. In regards to the title race, right? I know there was a lot of debate in the group on Saturday night about Arsenal and about what's going on. I'm going to ask this question. First of all, before we talk about winning a title, I want a yes or no from everyone, right? Just a yes or no. No caveats, just want a yes or no. Do you want next Saturday or Sunday, whenever they're playing, I'll start with Philly and go round that way. Do you want Arsenal to beat West Ham?
On the Tottenham's perspective, it has to be yes, innit? On the Tottenham's perspective, it has to be yes. I know why you're asking me first, man. I know why.
No, no. I'm just. What do you mean? You just joined. I was going around the other.
I can answer first, Philly, if you want.
No. On the Tottenham's perspective, yeah, right. They need Arsenal to win the game next week against West Ham.
Right. Okay, Alex, do you want Arsenal to beat West Ham?
No. Well, I want West Ham to win. Simple as that.
We'll come back to that. All right, hang on. Park, we'll come back to it. Danny?
No, I want Arsenal to win. I don't give a fuck about Arsenal winning the title or not. I couldn't care less. I care about what Tottenham do, right? If Arsenal... Oh, yeah, yes, I want Arsenal to win.
Dan?
Yes, of course I do. But I think I can see where Alex is going to come from here.
Alex, let's see. I need to. Why on earth would we want the team that we are directly in relegation battle with? Why on earth would we want them to pick up points?
Because at the moment, for me, Tottenham Hotspur should be worrying about themselves and winning their games, right? Whatever West Ham do, if we're doing better than West Ham, right, it shouldn't matter what West Ham, what
sure,
West Ham are doing.
Sure,
as far as I'm concerned. West Ham.
Sure, but why would you actively want to make that job more difficult for Tottenham by West Ham
and putting more pressure on Spurs when we have
because Tottenham have got the bottle and they've got the cojones.
That's not
what I'm asking, right? Hang on, so I've got to get this in, I've got to wrap my head around this.
Go on, Savva.
West Ham are in. Let's just remove Forest for 1 minute. Remove them for 1 minute, right? West Ham are the one team we are above. The one team we are above, right? They separate us and the Championship as of the 4th of May at 1:15. If West Ham beat Arsenal next week, whatever we talk about Spurs' bottle, blah, 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 we're then back into another situation where we're going, fuck, if we slip up against Leeds, we're now in a position where we're going, West Ham are above us and our next game is Stamford Bridge. Why would you want that pressure on us rather than West Ham lose, we win, and we're going, we're 4 points clear with 2 to go?
Right, first and foremost, it's inconsequential what fans actually think going into the game. It's the same thing we heard of the Man City game. If Man City, do you want Man City to beat Spurs? Yeah, it's the same thing that we're going into this one. Yeah, really and truly, we have no outlay on what happens in this game. What happens, and if West Ham beat Arsenal, fair play to West Ham beating Arsenal.
Exactly. The point I'm making is
sure.
Why would you want them to win?
That makes for really boring content, doesn't it?
Yeah, but for me at the moment, right?
Nothing we talk about really matters, does it?
Because for me, if Tottenham care about relegation, and for me, I don't. It would make no difference because my mind was in the Championship anyway, right? But for me, right, if Tottenham Hotspur cared about relegation, go and win your games, right? And you're then putting the question out there to those teams like Nottingham Forest, right? And saying, well, we're not going away. You need to still win your games. We're going to put pressure on you. You get what I'm saying?
Alex,
And that's what I'm saying.
But why make that more difficult than it needs to be?
You're saying that it's making it more difficult. If you're saying it's more difficult, or you're not worth the fight. Then you're not here for the fight. Then
no, but Alex, can I just add one thing?
You're not here for the fight. Then
just one thing, Alex. Right? That you got to understand that we have been the most injury affected squad in. Europe.
Here we go again.
No, but this is true. This is.
Here we go again.
Alex, we're only winning games now because Benton calls back. You literally said it yourself.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well,
you said it yourself, right? So how can you sit there and say that you want West Ham to win when we are in a situation where we've had more injuries than any other team in Europe, right? And we're only winning games now because we've got a men in midfield and we haven't got Archie Gray and Pape Sarr in midfield now, right? And it's because we've got a player back.
Danny, this is the equivalent, right? This is the equivalent of an Arsenal fan turning around and saying, I hope Man City beat Everton tonight.
Yeah.
But Arsenal have not been that crap this season, Bo. We've been crap this season.
Why?
We've been crap this season. How are you comparing Arsenal to Tottenham right now, man?
Alex, if I have to explain the comparison there, then I would be belittling. I'm not comparing them. My point is saying, if you are in direct competition with someone, why do you want them to win to make the situation more difficult?
But the difference is we've been so crap this season right now.
But that's not the. Sure.
Yeah, but this is my angle.
Why do you want West Ham to win?
This is my angle. We've been so crap this season right now, right? For me, right, you've got to work hard to keep your Premier League status for me right now, right? But to just come back to Danny about the injuries thing, because it's going to go off between me and him, yeah? Right? At the end of the season, Danny, when we're 18th, right? It won't say about injuries. It won't say about. We're not
going to be 18.
It won't say about injuries. It won't say about red cards. It won't be say about referees. All it's going to say is Tottenham Hotspur got relegated to the Championship 2025-2026. No question mark. That's it. Right. So that's the fact of what we've not been good enough.
Alex, there is a word that begins with P, right? That does funny things to people, right? Pressure. Right? Pressure. Now, I don't want, right, listen, as a Spurs fan, in my ideal world, normally Spurs are not in a relegation battle. So in an ideal world, if Spurs were sitting here right now, 13th, 14th, I'm just being conservative now, right? In an ideal world, we'd be up the top. In an ideal world, if Spurs are sitting here safe right now, I'm sitting here going, I do not want Arsenal to win this league in any way, shape or form. F them, right? But right now, my first thought is Spurs surviving, right? Now, if West Ham win, two things. One, the pressure that goes on to Tottenham is huge. Two, the B word, the belief that then gives West Ham going into their final two games. As a fan, why would you not want the team that could potentially relegate us to lose all their games? I am baffled by this, by this notion. And people go, it's opinions, but this isn't, is it? This is the relegation battle. We don't want the team below us to pick up points. Surely.
I'm sticking to what I say. I'm sorry. I've got to the point now. I honestly, I'm that down right now with this team at the moment. To be fair, to credit to Tottenham, they won the game yesterday and they deserved the game. They deserved the win, right? Gallagher, I'm saying Bentancur, well done to you because he has been great this season, yeah, and Paulinho as well, yeah, right. So even though I'm not his favorite, he's not my favorite, yeah. But I stick to what I say on this one, yeah? And this is what, unfortunately, they need to win their games, right? Pressure comes in life, right? They put the pressure on themselves because they put themselves in this situation because they've been crap this season, right? So I'm sorry. Right?
Yeah, but do you want? Sorry. Hang on, Alex. I've got. Sorry, look.
Go.
Yes, pressure comes with life, but in life, do I turn around to my wife and say, I hope we earn less money this month, so there's more pressure on us to pay our bills? Or do I say, God, I really hope I get paid more this month, so there's less pressure, we can do nice things and go on holiday and pay for everything? Why would you invite that? So I'm so
I hate
confused.
when you do this. I hate when you bring up
But it's
your personal life into this. I hate it. Can you do something else?
Alex, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Okay, let me ask you one question. Why would you want West Ham to win it? Is it because it's Arsenal? There's a bit of it, yeah. If West Ham's game at the weekend was against Bournemouth, are we sitting here going, "Cool, I really hope West Ham beat Bournemouth"? Is it because of the North London rivalry? And if so, aren't we past the point of swallowing our pride for that because we're in such a shit position?
But not just to add to that, wouldn't you rather, if it was to do with that, wouldn't you rather than a draw? Because then at least that also puts a dent in Arsenal as well as giving us still potential.
I think this can also work out different for different people, yeah? I think I get the idea where Alex is coming from, but on this one, I just can't agree with it. Now, me as a person, if I was a player, if anything, I would want West Ham to win that game against Arsenal. Why? Because it puts more pressure on me. Now, I'm a person that when I've got significant pressure on me, I work better. If I haven't got pressure on me, I get lazy and complacent. That's just me as a person.
That's some people, right?
Now,
not Spurs
exactly.
Players.
But that's where I'm about to go, Ben. But the issue here is the majority of the Spurs players don't seem to work well under pressure, and they seem to get complacent even under any. At the end of the day, this lot just don't seem to dig pressure. They don't like it. So me as a person, yes, I would want West Ham to win. It would bring more out of me as a person as such. But I can't vouch for that Spurs team being like that, and I don't see that Spurs team good a majority of the time under pressure. Now, if I thought that under the pressure would make that team better, then I'd say West Ham, go smash it, and then let us do our job. But we have just been so inconsistent and so much of a letdown in every which way, from player to player, from even players that we even said were good to now that they just totally folded for most of the season, bar the last game. I don't want any more extra pressure under that club than needs be. Now, also, if West Ham do go and win that, and Nottingham Forest don't get their next result, you've now also got pressure on Nottingham Forest as well, which almost opens it up a little bit for how Spurs can stay up as such. It's not one team we're just focusing on. We could also jump Nottingham Forest and they could actually jump down and go lower than West Ham. But again, Spurs just don't seem to work like that. I don't think they can work well under that pressure. So the less pressure, the better. But I can sort of see where you're coming from.
I'll be honest. I just can't. Dan's a nicer person than me. I can't see where anyone is coming from that wants the team that could potentially relegate us to pick up points. I cannot understand it. I will never understand it. And
not in this situation. No, I agree.
Sure, no, I get it. But be careful, Alex, because if we get relegated because West Ham beat Arsenal, I'm not saying it's on that one game.
I'm going to blame you, Alex.
Just be careful what we wish for. Right?
Listen. My mind's in the Championship right now. My mind's been in the Championship for a long time.
But why? We're 17.
Well, yeah, but my mind's been like since we've been. The thing I'm giving credit for, we're out that relegation zone because I didn't want to get out of it. So one thing that they proved me wrong is that we got out of the relegation zone because I thought as soon as we got in it, we're not going to come out. So, but I do think there are more tests to happen, and as far as I'm concerned, throw all the book at them right now. They need to fight for their lives right now because the amount of struggles they gave us this season,
Alex,
and the last two seasons as well. Sorry,
Alex,
I don't think they should get easy at all.
Sure, but Alex, let me give you this scenario, right? And we are going to wrap up in 2 minutes. Let me give you this scenario: if West Ham lose to Arsenal, right, and Spurs beat Leeds, We are 4 points above them with 2 games to go, right? Aren't we all sitting there as fans going, phew? Isn't that what we wanted? Isn't it what we wanted that we go, oh, thank God? Why would we? I don't understand why. Forget the team. As a fan, why do I want that hanging over my head that I'm like, oh, shit, West Ham have won again. We're now another week where it's got to be matching results. Why would you
can I just add one piece here to Alex's thing earlier? Yeah, please. Yeah, because Alex, yeah, I agree with you. The tempo Spurs set yesterday in the game in the first half, they could not match it in the second half. Right, they went to about 60 minutes here, and the game was becoming stretched. Right, and Tebby Abraham was able to get in a couple of times, and it took a Van der Ven last-minute tackle to stop that attack. Right. Then they put Watkins on there. You can see the threat that Watkins had, but it was too late in the context of the game. They put Bundia on there, and it was too late in the context of the game. But Tottenham harassed Aston Villa into making mistakes here because we lack creativity, and even the goals were some of the parts from set pieces. Now tenacity, and having that level of tempo, we can't maintain it throughout the whole game, and that was the context of what I was hearing in the commentary, and that's what I looked at. And as for some players here, Adoji needs to go. His lack of concentration. Yeah, if you watch him, he actually touched the ball. Yeah, tapped it, and he went a couple of yards away from him. Now, if he does that in a normal game, yeah, an attacker will just take the ball off him and run straight in. That's how you can see that he's not a good player. The same with Danzo. Yeah, I worry about him with pace. And when Watkins came on, you could see that coming. So I look at this context of the game as well. Both sets I look at, Alex, when I look at a game. So I thought I'd add that context to it. You could understand why the tempo dropped off in the game naturally.
Sure, but can you name teams that pressed for 90 minutes that have that intensity?
That's why it was after 60 minutes here. The way that Spurs went back here, all 11 men behind the ball, and made it difficult for Aston Villa to pass in between there and get opportunities. That has to be commended as well.
Yeah, sure.
Savva, because I know you want to wrap up. We'll have a conversation after. If it's a situation where West Ham get beaten by Arsenal, which is expected, right? And then we beat Leeds and we're 4 points ahead, and then it looks like, well, I don't say we're safe completely. I think we still have to win our 2 games, right? But if we can start...
Hang on. If we're 4 points clear with 2 to go, we think that we'll lose our last 2 and West Ham will win their last 2.
I'm still, I'd rather be mathematical fit, safe, and then take it from there. Because
hang on. Sorry. No. You don't get to say that. You wouldn't rather it was mathematical because you want the other team to keep adding math. You want the other team to keep adding numbers. You don't want it.
Oh yeah. But okay.
Win.
Okay, so okay. But
hang on,
wait just a minute.
Mathematically safe. I want them to keep scoring and winning games.
Wait just a minute. Okay, just because I said that, right? Just because I said that. That was that question mark I said. This, in terms of being mathematically safe, is us winning games to get to that marker to make sure we're mathematically safe. So that's what I'd say I'd rather have. Yeah, that would be a scenario, a better scenario. Yes, it would be. So, but I forgot what I was going to say now. But I was just saying, no, you're not proving anything, Savva. I know you haven't, because I still mean what I say about the West Ham winning.
Okay.
I'll definitely still mean it.
Okay, look, we need to wrap up. So we'll revisit this next week. And listen, for what it's worth, I think Arsenal win the next 3. By the way, I think Arsenal win the next 3 comfortably, and I think it's all on Man City now to outscore them on goal difference. Yeah. Hence why you need City to come with a big scored line tonight. But either way, let's be fair. Before I worry about what my rivals do, and I worry about what I'm doing. If I've got an enemy, do I care about him being able to pay his mortgage first, or am I paying my mortgage and then laughing at him? I don't know. For me, you've got to worry about your own house. Let me do a couple of super chats. Big up to Jay Dillo, who's been a member for 14 months. Said, big up, guys. Great win. Let's keep it going. I agree. I agree. Big up, Jay. Completely agree with you, my man. And big up to 3-Star Reds. Said, Alex, if we beat Chelsea... Sorry, Alex, we beat Chelsea. Spurs are back in the shite. All right. So 3-Star Reds is a Nottingham Forest fan. I'll say it again. I want Chelsea to win today. I make no bones about it. I want Chelsea to beat Nottingham Forest.
Up the Chelsea.
Keep as many teams. Chelsea doesn't affect us, does it? Like right now,
No.
Chelsea winning today does not affect Tottenham in any way, shape, or form.
No, it doesn't.
I just want to see
They're not gonna make
Wolfie. I want to see Forest go down just to see the look on Wolfie's face.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Can I add something to
Just
this
see
one as
the
well?
look on
I want to
Wolfie's
say, I hope that Crystal Palace win the Conference League. Justice for Crystal Palace here, because they should have been in the Europa League this year until Nottingham Forest stole their spot.
Agreed.
So justice to Crystal Palace. Go and win the Conference League. And the other one is go Aston Villa knocking Nottingham Forest out this week in the
Well, also,
in the Europa League.
Billy, if just before you go, if Aston Villa win the Europa League and finish 5th, whoever's in 6th place will get Champions League football. So Bournemouth, at this moment in time, will get Champions League football. It's mad, isn't it?
That'd be an interesting one for sure. Fair play to him if they do.
I'd love that to happen. Genuinely would love that to happen. And then Nottingham Forest go down. Just perfection. Oh.
Anyway,
Wolfie
guys,
face.
I'm gonna leave it there. Big up to Phil Coys as well with a super sticker. Thank you very much, Phil. Really appreciate it, mate. Look, just always remember, people, we are Spurs fans before we are Arsenal's enemies, right? We are Spurs fans. If Arsenal win the league, it doesn't really affect me, if I'm going to be brutally honest. I care about Tottenham staying up. But listen, couple of big games going on today. Let's see what happens. Guys, thank you very much. I'll be back sometime towards the end of next week. Yada, yada, yada. And I already see in Sean's chat that someone in there is lying and saying, I had to turn off fhtv after 5 minutes because it was all negative. I don't know what was said that was negative today from me about Spurs. Pretty sure I said it was a really good performance from all concerned and that De Zerbi's doing well and we're staying up. Isn't it mad what people can hear? Anyway,
the only one who said we won the game because Villa were crap was Alex.
I know, but he said I had to turn it off after 5 minutes because Savva was negative.
I'm being sarcastic, by the way, mate.
Guys, I'm going to send you over to Sean. Enjoy his show. Much love. Take care. And as always, big up the animal. Said we missed your morning daily live shows last week. Where have you been? I've got a new job, animal. So I'm not doing shows Monday to Friday. I've got a new job. So yeah, as I said, when people said I was a liar and I wasn't going to slow down with YouTube, I am. Much love. Take care. I'll send you over to Sean and just FHTV raid, Savva raid, or don't say anything. See you later. Bye.